Welcome to Tales in the Dark. I know many of you enjoy relaxing with these videos, so I recommend turning down the volume until my voice is barely audible. It'll make the experience even more soothing. Before you close your eyes, let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and enjoy listening. Story 1. On a cool autumn morning, while reaching for the daily paper, a folded note caught my eye amidst the usual bills. The script, elegant yet mysterious, sent a shiver down my spine. The air outside carried the essence of fallen leaves and distant rain, setting a tranquil atmosphere. Unfolding the note, a chill crept over me, a reminder that secrets have a way of finding us when we least anticipate them. The message was concise yet enigmatic. What you seek lies beneath the 7th floorboard from the hearth. Residing alone in my grandmother's aged Victorian abode, a place steeped in enigmatic tales, this message struck a chord deep within me. The handwriting bore a resemblance to my grandmother's, evoking memories of her recipe cards, though she had departed this world 5 years prior. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting elongated shadows into the room, a peculiar pull drew me towards the living area. Inside, the ancient grandfather clock ticked steadily, a heartbeat in the quiet. The wind whispered outside, adding to the serene ambience. The floorboards, worn by the passage of time, creaked softly under my steps as I neared the fireplace. Tracing the wood's grain, I counted slowly from the stone hearth. 1, 2, 3. Each number seemed to echo through the hushed space. 4, 5, 6. The 7th floorboard appeared unremarkable, yet a subtle change in temperature beneath my touch hinted at something more. In the dim light, a hairline gap at the board's edge caught my attention, unnoticed in previous inspections. The wood felt alive, responsive as I pressed gently. A soft click accompanied by the whisper of shifting wood filled the room as the floorboard yielded, revealing a hidden compartment below. A musty scent, mingled with the faint fragrance of lavender, my grandmother's favorite, rose from the depths. Within a velvet pouch lay a silver key, intricate patterns dancing across its surface in the lamplight. Recognizing the key as the one my grandmother wore around her neck, I felt a surge of nostalgia and curiosity. Its purpose had always eluded me, disappearing after her passing, only to resurface now through mysterious means. As rain tapped rhythmically against the windows, I sat in her old armchair, turning the key over in my hands. The house settled around me, familiar sounds taking on new significance. Shadows seemed to hold secrets, every nook brimming with potential. Memories of my grandmother flooded back, stories of hidden spaces and family lore. She often spoke of the house having its own beating heart, echoing the memories it safeguarded. The rain played a soothing melody, blending with the steady tick of the grandfather clock. There was no rush to unravel this enigma tonight. Instead, I embraced the gradual unveiling, letting memories and whispers guide me. As I teetered between consciousness and slumber, my grandmother's voice resonated in my mind, a beacon of wisdom and comfort. Patience, dear one. Some doors open only when we're ready to step through them. The key, a reassuring weight in my palm, symbolized a journey yet to unfold. The mystery remained unsolved, yet a sense of peace washed over me, knowing it had found its way back home. Hints of a possible lock for the key lingered in the attic's shadows, behind the study's wallpaper, or beneath the staircase. For now, I embraced the unfolding mystery like a flower blooming at its own pace, basking in the morning sun. The note that sparked it all rested in my grandmother's jewelry box, a gentle nudge to savor the unknown with patience and wonder. For some questions are meant to linger until we're ready to grasp their answers. Story 2. Late one misty night, I found solace in a weathered inn perched at the town's edge. Within the softly illuminated lobby, a gentle, persistent murmur began to seep from the very walls themselves. The time-worn wallpaper and creaking wooden beams seemed to carry whispers of bygone souls and faded sorrows. A blend of aged wood and stagnant air lingered in the atmosphere, intertwining with the murmurs, luring me into a mystery safeguarded by the ancient structure for generations. The elderly innkeeper, her hair a shimmering silver cascade, passed me a brass key with trembling hands. "Room 17, she murmured, her voice a mere whisper against the backdrop of rain tapping at the window panes. "Beware the floors at night. They have a voice for newcomers." Though her enigmatic caution might have unsettled me in different circumstances, weariness had dulled my senses to all but the promise of sleep. Ascending the carpeted staircase, each step exhaled a soft sigh underfoot. The faded wallpaper, a dance of delicate vines and blooms, appeared to sway at the edge of my vision, yet remained motionless when directly gazed upon. The air thickened as I climbed, bearing the sweet perfume of ancient tomes and dried lavender. Room 17 awaited at the corridor's end, its brass numbers tarnished by time. The key turned effortlessly in the lock, as if the door anticipated my arrival. Inside, a grand four-poster bed dominated the space, its dark wood frame stretching skyward like outstretched fingers. Heavy drapes framed a rain-streaked window, while an antique armchair rested in the corner, its fabric smoothed by countless occupants. Nestling into bed, the murmurs grew more distinct. Not from fellow guests or the storm outside, but from the very bones of the building itself. The walls seemed to inhale and exhale, pulsating with whispered secrets. I found myself falling into their cadence, my breath syncing with the room's gentle rhythm. In that twilight realm between wakefulness and slumber, I began to decipher fragments of the murmurs, tales of travelers from eras past, of clandestine confessions in hushed tones, of love stories that blossomed and faded within these very walls. The voices intertwined like threads in an unseen tapestry, each adding a unique hue to the inn's history. A singular whisper, soft yet urgent, caught my ear, a woman's voice saying, "Remember the mirror." My gaze drifted to the ornate-looking glass above the dresser. Within its aged reflection, I glimpsed more than just my own image. The glass held depths beyond its physical bounds, a portal to another time. As I watched, the room's reflection began to shift. The decor appeared fresher, colors more vivid. Shadows moved out of sync with my lamp's flicker. In one corner, I could swear the armchair's fabric repaired itself, years of wear unwinding in reverse. Yet these changes evoked not fear, but a profound tranquility. The walls continued their soft murmurs, accompanied by the floorboard's gentle creaks and the distant melody of wind through the eaves. Each sound melded into a lulling symphony, cradling my consciousness. Throughout the night, I drifted in and out of slumber, each awakening unveiling new whispers, new tales. The inn shared its memories openly, like a cherished grandmother imparting family lore. I learned of hidden letters beneath floorboards, of clandestine meetings under moonlit skies, of jubilant gatherings and silent farewells. Each narrative felt like a gift bestowed upon me by the very essence of the building. With the morning's arrival, its soft light filtering through rain-washed windows, the whispers gradually subsided. The walls settled into a serene quietude, having relayed their chosen fragments of lore. As I gathered my belongings, a subtle change in the mirror's reflection caught my eye. A small key resting on the dresser, previously absent. The mystery of the wall's message that night remained unsolved. Some secrets, perhaps, are destined to linger half-heard, like melodies carried on a distant breeze. Yet in recollection of that evening at the ancient inn, I feel a profound sense of privilege, aware that I was selected as a transient guardian of its myriad tales. Even now, years later, I sometimes press my ear against old building walls, yearning for another whispered story. And on tranquil nights, when the world hushes, I swear I can still perceive the soft murmurs of those age-old walls, beckoning me back to that rain-drenched twilight when the boundary between past and present blurred as thinly as weathered wallpaper. Story 3. As I meandered through a labyrinth of shadowy back streets on a rainy night, a peculiar sight caught my eye. A wall adorned with vivid graffiti that glowed in the damp darkness beckoned to me. The colors seemed to throb and shift, almost breathing with life, as if harboring a secret message meant just for me. The sharp scent of spray paint mingled with the earthy fragrance of rain-soaked concrete, creating a peculiar blend that both captivated and unsettled me amid this urban enigma. Intrigued, I found myself drawn closer to the wall, my footsteps hushed by the wet pavement. The rain, like a gentle orchestra, composed a soothing melody as it cascaded down the luminous artwork. Beneath the faint glow of distant streetlights, the colors undulated and intertwined, resembling liquid light, deep purples melding into electric blues, soft greens twirling with hints of amber. Each time I blinked, the patterns seemed to subtly shift, transforming abstract swirls into fleeting shapes, a face, a door, a key, before dissolving back into a mesmerizing tapestry of chaos. The rain's rhythmic percussion against metal fire escapes and overflowing gutters created an entrancing ambient symphony. My fingertips traced the air near the wall, mirroring the graceful curves of light, while the colors cast gentle reflections on my skin, blurring the lines between myself and the mysterious artwork. A warm breeze carried the scents of wet earth and night-blooming flowers, mingling with the lingering sweetness of spray paint. In that moment, time seemed to warp and bend. The harsh edges of reality softened, enveloping me in a dreamlike haze. From the corner of my eye, I fancied I saw shadows moving in harmony with the shifting colors, not menacing, but inquisitive, like silent companions sharing in my awe. The rain continued to weave its spell, each drop capturing and reflecting the otherworldly glow. A sense of familiarity crept over me as I studied the wall, as if I were recalling a half-forgotten dream or a tune lost to memory. Certain symbols recurred, a spiral here, a starburst there, hinting at a hidden language woven in light and shadow. The air grew warmer, tingling against my skin with a gentle static charge as the colors pulsed in sync with my slowing heartbeat, forging a meditative link between observer and art. My reflection shimmered in a puddle at my feet, distorted yet oddly clear in the dim light. Faces, fleeting and curious, appeared beside mine in the water, vanishing like wisps of mist when I tried to focus on them. The raindrops created expanding rings in the puddle, each carrying specks of colored light, while time seemed to stretch and contract in that peculiar space, an eternity condensed into moments of profound contemplation. The luminous artwork seemed to whisper a tale, though its full meaning eluded me, like grasping at the edges of a wondrous dream upon waking. When I finally stepped back, I realized the rain had ceased, unnoticed by me. The air hung heavy with moisture, redolent of petrichor. The vibrant colors on the wall danced on, yet now they appeared settled, as if they had imparted their message and found peace. Taking a few more steps back, I preserved the scene in my mind, every detail etched into my memory. The reflections of colors on wet surfaces, the gentle sigh of wind in the alley, the lingering warmth in the air. As I turned to depart, I noticed my shadow on the ground, tinged with traces of the mysterious hues, as though a part of that experience had melded with me. To this day, glimpses of those same colors flicker at the edge of my vision, in rain-streaked windows, in sunlight filtering through leaves, in the liminal space between slumber and wakefulness. The alley remains elusive, evading my searches. Yet, on quiet nights when rain taps against my window, I can close my eyes and almost feel the subtle pulse of that radiant graffiti, still murmuring its timeless tale to any who care to listen. Story 4. I found myself drawn to a forgotten cinema, its marquee shrouded in darkness and dust. Stepping inside, the vast auditorium lay in hushed stillness, until a faint, distorted melody began to weave through the air, seemingly emerging from nowhere. The soft notes of an ancient soundtrack reverberated off weathered walls and unoccupied seats, while the scent of old popcorn and wistful memories lingered in the atmosphere. Each musical tone carried echoes of days long past, urging me to unravel the mystery behind this ghostly performance. The once luxurious velvet seats, now faded to a somber burgundy hue, retained their form as if anticipating an audience that would never return. My footsteps treaded softly on layers of settled dust, creating delicate clouds that pirouetted in the gentle light filtering through cracks in the ceiling. The beams intercepted floating particles, transforming them into shimmering stars in this realm of forgotten entertainment. Venturing further into the auditorium, the melody intensified, a haunting waltz that seemed to emanate from the very structure itself. The music possessed an unearthly quality, as if flowing through water or resonating from behind thick glass. I closed my eyes, allowing the enchanting sound to envelop me, briefly sensing the spectral presence of countless moviegoers who once sat in these very seats, their emotions lingering in the essence of the place. The beckoning projection booth loomed above, a dark aperture high amidst the rows of seats. Climbing the narrow staircase, each creaking step added a soft percussion to the mysterious symphony. Within the booth, a capsule frozen in time awaited, with ancient film reels scattered on the floor, their metal casings reflecting what scant light infiltrated this sacred enclave. The projector stood stoic, its lens clouded with age, yet retaining a dignified aura. Running my fingers along the cool surface of the projector, the music shifted, growing more intimate, as if responding to my presence. The mechanical heart of this dormant behemoth emanated a warmth, defying logic. Amidst stacks of film canisters bearing faded titles, one reel stood apart on the dusty workbench. It exuded a subtle vibration, harmonizing perfectly with the phantom melody. The label had vanished, leaving a smooth, reflective surface that mirrored my contemplative gaze. Upon touching the reel, the music swelled gently, forging a peculiar connection between myself, the film, and the edifice. Through the projection window, the expansive screen below beckoned, and for an instant, shadows seemed to flicker across its expanse, like memories yearning to replay themselves. An electric charge permeated the air, the temperature dropping imperceptibly. The projector's gears initiated a soft, rhythmic clicking, blending seamlessly with the enigmatic soundtrack. Though no film traversed its mechanisms, I sensed it was projecting something to an unseen audience. Realization dawned that this place was not mere abandonment, but a repository of narratives, sentiments, and experiences preserved in an intangible manner. The soundtrack transcended music. It encapsulated the collective memory of every laughter, tear, and gasp that had resonated within these walls. Time seemed fluid within this space, moments elongated into hours, or perhaps hours condensed into moments. The melody continued its soothing loop, evading a clear commencement or closure, mirroring the cyclical nature of the film reels. Swaying to its rhythm, I became enmeshed in this mystical performance, attuned to subtle variations in the music, each iteration painting the air with unseen hues visible in my peripheral vision. The projection booth transformed into a conductor's podium, and I, an unwitting maestro. Every subtle gesture seemed to influence the unseen orchestra, though the rules of this spectral collaboration eluded me. The dust particles twirled in perfect synchrony with the phantom symphony, an eternal ballet of the forgotten. Eventually, a gentle melancholy nudged me to depart. Descending the stairs, the music gradually receded, bidding a tender farewell. Each step carried me away from its source, yet the melody trailed me, growing fainter but never vanishing completely. Glancing back at the entrance, the projector's window bathed in a soft, ethereal light, offering a final, delicate refrain before succumbing to silence. Even now, long after exiting that ethereal realm, whispers of that spectral soundtrack visit me in quiet interludes, a reminder that some performances endure beyond time, awaiting their next audience. Story 5. As I ventured into an abandoned structure on a dare, my footsteps echoed through a vast hall, enveloped in a profound silence. Suddenly, a clear, almost whimsical laugh broke the stillness, reverberating off the cold stone walls. The sound, both alluring and unsettling, mingled with the lingering aroma of dust and decay. With cautious steps, I pursued the source of the laughter deeper into the shadows, questioning if it was a memory or a forewarning. The air grew heavy as I pressed forward, bearing the weight of countless untold tales. Moonbeams filtered through towering, arched windows, casting elongated shadows that waltzed across weathered marble floors. The soft rustle of autumn leaves, carried inside by a gentle breeze, harmonized with the whisper of my own footsteps, creating a delicate symphony of solitude. Tracing my fingers along the worn walls, I felt the texture of peeling wallpaper beneath my touch, the faded patterns still hinting at their former grandeur. Time had gentled their once sharp edges, much like it had softened the harsh lines of the building itself. Another laugh resonated down the corridor, closer now, accompanied by the scent of aged books and forgotten memories. The grand staircase beckoned me upward, its steps groaning softly under my weight, as if sharing the secrets of past inhabitants. The polished wooden banister felt smooth against my palm, imprinted by countless hands over the years. Ascending, the darkness shifted, becoming velvety rather than foreboding, more like a comforting embrace than a threat. On the second floor, a corridor lined with tarnished mirrors stretched before me. Their surfaces reflected slivers of moonlight, casting an otherworldly glow. The laughter seemed to emanate from everywhere and nowhere, as if the mirrors themselves shared an ancient jest. Beyond my own reflection, I glimpsed shadows of movement just out of sight, like memories struggling to resurface. Despite the autumn chill, a peculiar warmth enveloped the air, reminiscent of sunlit afternoons in old libraries where dust motes danced like stars. The wooden floorboards creaked beneath my feet, a rhythm echoing my heartbeat, forging an intimate connection between myself and this forgotten space. At the end of the hall, a slightly ajar door emitted a soft golden light, not harsh but gentle like candlelight or the last hues of sunset. The laughter, now akin to wind chimes in a gentle breeze, originated from within that room. Approaching, I observed intricate carvings on the doorframe, figures engaged in an eternal dance, expressions suspended between joy and an indescribable emotion. Inside, an ancient phonograph stood, its brass horn catching and scattering the mysterious light. The turntable rotated slowly, devoid of any record. Adjacent, a high-backed chair with worn velvet upholstery exuded a faded richness. The atmosphere within shifted, thicker and warmer, as if stepping into a memory. The laughter resonated once more, seemingly emerging from the phonograph itself, despite its silence. Nestling into the chair, it molded to my form as though expecting my presence. The room held a tranquil stillness, akin to the pause between heartbeats. Through tall windows, the moon hung low in the sky, casting pulsating shadows that seemed to breathe with life. The laughter softened, resembling a gentle hum that reverberated deep within my chest. Time blurred while I sat there. Moonlight created storytelling patterns on the walls, at times revealing dancing figures within, moving to the rhythm of the phantom laughter. The room, simultaneously unfamiliar and familiar, felt like a half-remembered dream upon waking. As dawn approached, painting the sky in muted hues, I realized a change had transpired. The laughter had become a part of me, or perhaps I had merged with it. The boundary between observer and observed had faded, like morning mist. When I finally rose to depart, my movements felt hurried yet languid, as if the room wished to detain me a while longer. I never revisited that edifice, but on serene nights when the world hushed, the distant laughter finds me. It visits in dreams or in those fleeting moments between sleep and wakefulness. And in those instances, I ponder if I truly departed from that room, or if a part of me lingers there still, seated in the velvet chair, listening to joy resonate through empty corridors, anticipating another to follow the laughter and unearth what I discovered, or perhaps what discovered me. Story 6. As a sudden downpour descended on an otherwise unremarkable evening, I sought refuge beneath an awning to evade the rain's relentless assault. Amidst the rhythmic drumming of raindrops on the pavement, a faint, urgent whisper floated through the air, carried by the storm's embrace. The cool, damp atmosphere carried the fragrance of fresh rain and distant thunder, while the whispered enticement hinted at enigmatic truths yearning to be unraveled. Entranced by the hypnotic symphony of raindrops dancing on the shelter above, the whisper returned, now more distinct, akin to a voice speaking just inches from my ear. Startled, I turned around, only to be met by empty space and the encroaching shadows of dusk. Streetlights flickered to life, their gentle luminance casting ethereal halos in the mist-laden air. The beckoning voice seemed to tug at me, guiding me towards a narrow passageway wedged between weathered brick structures. Under ordinary circumstances, I would have dismissed such a peculiar urge as folly. Yet this evening bore an unusual aura. The whisper bore no malice, but rather a gentle insistence reminiscent of my grandmother's soothing bedtime tales. With cautious steps, I ventured into the alley, and the rain softened into a tranquil mist. The brick walls exuded a warmth despite the evening chill, as though they harbored the essence of centuries of sunlight, now slowly releasing it back into the world. My footfalls created soft splashes in the shallow puddles, casting mesmerizing ripples that caught the light in intricate patterns. The alley unveiled a secluded courtyard, shielded from prying eyes by the encircling edifices. At its heart stood an ancient fountain, its weathered stone surface smoothed by the passage of time and weather's gentle caress. Water cascaded from its spout in a melodic stream, mingling with the falling rain to compose a harmonious serenade. The whisper seemed to emanate from the very core of the fountain, growing stronger with each step I took. Encircling the fountain's base, clusters of delicate blue flowers blossomed, their petals aglow with an otherworldly radiance pulsating in time with the falling droplets. These blooms, both ancient and freshly unfurled, appeared to exist in multiple temporal realms simultaneously. Kneeling by the fountain, an inexplicable sense of déjà vu enveloped me. Faint markings adorned the stone, resembling inscriptions of an unknown tongue. As my fingers traced the enigmatic symbols, they shifted and morphed beneath my touch, akin to words vanishing in water. The whisper crystallized into comprehensible words, weaving tales of memories, vows, and cyclical time akin to the spiraling waters of the fountain. It narrated the tales of past visitors drawn to this hallowed spot over centuries, all beckoned by the same gentle call on rainy nights. Within the fountain's pool, reflections materialized that defied reality, glimpses of bygone eras, alternate lives, and fleeting moments of shared presence. Each reflection wavered and dissipated like dreams at dawn, leaving behind a faint impression of the enigmatic scenes witnessed. The blue flowers continued their rhythmic pulsing, casting soft shadows that waltzed across the courtyard walls. Time meandered differently in this hidden enclave, akin to honey trickling from a spoon, sweet and unhurried. No sense of urgency to depart gripped me, no fear of encroaching darkness. The whispers evolved into a comforting embrace, akin to a childhood lullaby half remembered. Seated beside the fountain, the rain persisted in its gentle descent, veiling this sanctum in a curtain of water that set it apart from the mundane realm beyond. The whispers divulged secrets that I knew would elude full recollection, yet linger in the recesses of my profoundest slumbers. Upon rising to depart, I noticed a lone blue flower had detached, resting in my open palm. Its once dazzling luminescence had dimmed to blend with the natural realm, yet retained its intrinsic beauty. The whispers waned as I retraced my steps through the alley, yet their presence lingered like a tender caress. Emerging onto the street, the rain had ceased, though the air remained laden with moisture. Familiar street lamps cast their customary glow upon the slick cobblestones, life resuming its habitual cadence. Yet I sensed a transformation wrought by the enigmatic allure of that hidden courtyard. On rainy evenings henceforth, a faint echo of those whispers occasionally drifts on the breeze. The blue flower rests upon my windowsill, outwardly unassuming to any casual observer. But within the nocturnal stillness, when the world hushes, it pulsates with a gentle radiance, a reminder of pledges exchanged in the rain, of enigmas veiled beyond our mundane perception, awaiting discovery by those attuned to the whispers within the storm. Story 7. In the heart of a mansion forgotten by time, I found myself enveloped in a hushed symphony of silence, a quiet so alive it whispered of bygone days. The grand foyer, adorned with portraits veiled in dust and drapes frayed by age, exhaled memories into the still air. The floorboards groaned beneath my feet, the wind sighed through shattered windows, and the house itself seemed to beckon me to listen to its hidden tales. As the late afternoon light filtered through weary curtains, casting shadows that danced upon faded wallpaper, I ventured further into the dwelling, my steps a soft cadence mingling with the settling of dust motes. The scent of ancient wood and forgotten dreams caressed my senses, mingling with the distant melody of branches caressing glass panes. A majestic staircase called to me, its banister dulled by the passage of time. Ascending, my hand trailed along the polished wood, revealing a curious phenomenon. The dust vanished beneath my touch, leaving behind gleaming sections untouched by decay. The warmth of the wood beneath my fingers belied the chill that clung to the mansion's air. The second floor greeted me with a corridor flanked by closed doors, each exuding a distinct aura of anticipation, like the silence between heartbeats. The temperature shifted subtly with each threshold crossed, some areas embracing me with gentle warmth, while others held pockets of coolness that made me draw my jacket tighter. One door, slightly ajar, revealed an antiquated study bathed in the amber hues of dusk. Books lined the walls, their faded spines whispering of untold knowledge. A desk, cloaked in a film of dust save for a pristine circle, stood in the room's center, as if awaiting its next visitor. Approaching the desk, the floorboards sighed beneath my steps, the chair angled as though vacated only moments before. In the dust-free circle, a faint impression of words caught my eye. We never truly leave. The sun dipped lower, shadows stretching across the floor, and the room's atmosphere shifted subtly. The air stirred gently, books rustling their pages as if leafed through by invisible hands. Seated at the desk, fingertips tracing the wood's intricate patterns, I became attuned to the ambient sounds, the wood's creaks, the wind's whispers, the subtle movements around me. They wove a language just beyond comprehension. Time lost its grip in that room, minutes melting into hours as I absorbed the space's essence. The encroaching darkness felt comforting, a soothing embrace that made the room feel intimate. As night descended, a soft luminescence emanated from the dust-free circle on the desk, pulsing like a breath, the words, "We never truly leave," shimmering in the dimness. Compelled by an unseen force, I placed my hand within the glow, a profound peace washing over me. The mansion's silence morphed into a melodic tapestry of sounds, each one a story waiting to be told. Upon rising to depart, I noticed my watch had stilled during my reverie. The darkness now felt alive, a presence rather than an absence, as I retraced my steps through the hallway and down the stairs. The mansion's silence was not devoid but pregnant with narratives, yearning for a listener attuned to its whispers. Often I ponder returning to that mansion, to revisit that study as night falls. In the quietude of my own home, I catch fleeting echoes of that musical silence, a reminder that spaces harbor more than memories. They hold fragments of souls past, lingering in the shadows and dust, waiting to be acknowledged. Story 8. On a cool autumn afternoon, as I wandered through a park ablaze with shades of gold and crimson, a peculiar sensation caught my attention. Among the rustling of fallen leaves, a faint murmur seemed to drift up, a subtle chorus of whispered voices. The air, saturated with the fragrance of spiced cider and damp earth, held an ancient enigma, as if the breeze itself was recounting forgotten tales. Initially, I dismissed it as mere fancy, the seasonal symphony of fall playing tricks on my senses. Yet, as I continued along the meandering path, the whispers grew clearer. They were not menacing or alarming, but rather reminiscent of the soft buzz of distant conversations, like echoes of childhood bedtime stories carried on the wind. The park was tranquil that day, with only a handful of other visitors visible in the distance. Sunlight filtered through the canopy above, casting dancing patterns on the ground like nature's own kaleidoscope. I felt drawn to a particularly ancient oak tree, its colossal trunk cloaked in bark that resembled aged leather, whispering tales of bygone eras. As I approached the oak, the murmuring intensified. It was not in English, or any language I could recognize. The sounds were harmonious, rising and falling like the ebb and flow of waves on a shore, each syllable bearing the weight of countless seasons. Pressing my palm against the rough bark of the tree, I sensed its warmth despite the autumn chill. It was then that I noticed the leaves at my feet starting to stir. Not in the usual manner leaves rustle in the wind, but purposefully, almost as if engaged in a slow, deliberate dance. They twirled in intricate circles, tracing elaborate designs on the ground. The motion was mesmerizing, and I found myself swaying gently in response to their rhythm. The afternoon light began to shift, taking on a quality I had never before witnessed. It seemed to thicken, almost tangible, as though I could reach out and touch the golden rays. In this ethereal glow, I observed something extraordinary. Each descending leaf caught the light uniquely, reflecting fleeting images, glimpses of other times, other seasons, as they twirled in their descent. Seated on a nearby bench, captivated by the spectacle, I realized the whispers had transformed into a soft melody, and the leaves were narrating tales. In one leaf, I glimpsed a young couple from what appeared to be the 1920s, sharing a tender kiss beneath that very oak. In another, children from summers long past played hide and seek amid the trees. Each leaf held a memory, preserved like amber, yearning for a witness to unveil its story. The bench beneath me was surprisingly inviting, and I found myself sinking deeper into this extraordinary experience. Time seemed to lose its significance. The usual cacophony of the modern world, distant traffic, airplane engines, the buzz of smartphones, had faded into oblivion. All that remained was the gentle symphony of leaves and memories. As the sun descended slowly, casting elongated shadows over the park, I noticed the temperature had not plummeted as it typically did in the evening. Instead, I was enveloped in a cocoon of warm, gentle air. The singing leaves had fashioned a pocket of timeless autumn, where past and present melded in serene harmony. I cannot ascertain how long I lingered there, witnessing the tales unfold. At some juncture, I observed other leaves gathering around my feet, forming a perfect circle. Within their arrangement, I discerned symbols, neither quite letters nor pictures, that seemed to shift and evolve when viewed from different angles. They brought to mind the frost patterns on winter windows, yet these were comprised of autumnal golds and russet reds. The murmurs softened then, akin to a lullaby drawing to its conclusion. The images within the falling leaves grew more ethereal, more dreamlike. It was as though I had been granted entry to a clandestine library of memories, where each leaf was a page in an infinite book of tales. As twilight approached, the extraordinary exhibition began to fade gently. The leaves returned to their natural patterns, though every now and then I fancied I caught a glimpse of movement, a whisper of their dance. The warmth lingered in the air, but the images and symbols gradually dissolved back into the ordinary beauty of an autumn evening. Rising slowly from the bench, I felt strangely invigorated rather than fatigued. The silhouette of the oak tree against the darkening sky appeared different somehow, more vibrant, more sentient. Turning to depart, a solitary leaf descended, alighting in my open palm. Within its veins I perceived what resembled a map, yet before I could scrutinize it closely, a breath of wind spirited it away, reuniting it with its companions in their eternal dance. To this day I return to that park each autumn, seeking the whispers of the leaves. Occasionally, I catch fleeting glimpses of their stories, brief instances when the veil between past and present thins. Yet never again have I beheld the complete exhibition of that initial encounter. Perhaps the leaves await the opportune moment to reveal their secrets once more. Or perhaps they are crafting new tales with each passing season, augmenting their boundless collection of memories. What I do know is that autumn has been forever transformed since that day. Every rustling leaf harbors the potential for enchantment, and every golden afternoon carries the allure of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. The secret murmur of the autumn leaves has woven itself into the fabric of my being, a gentle prompt that the world is replete with wonders for those willing to heed its call. Story 9. As I wandered through the secluded forest trail, my eyes caught a glimpse of an old stone well hidden beneath the tangled vines that had claimed it as their own. Bathed in the ethereal light of the full moon, the well emitted a mysterious, pulsating glow that seemed to beckon me closer. The air around me was cool and damp, carrying the earthy scent of moss and ancient secrets. With cautious steps, I approached the well, the fallen leaves beneath my feet muffling my movements. The weathered stones of the well bore intricate carvings, their surfaces smoothed by the passage of time. The light emanating from within pulsed in a rhythm that mirrored my own breathing, creating an eerie sense of connection between us. The forest fell silent around me, even the chirping crickets hushing to listen to the whisper of the wind weaving through the trees. Moonlight danced through the canopy above, casting enchanting shadows on the ground below. Intrigued, I reached out to touch the carvings on the well's rim. As my fingers traced the patterns, I felt a subtle vibration, like a distant melody humming beneath my touch. The stone felt cool and almost metallic, a stark contrast to its surroundings. The glow from within cast strange shadows on my hands, reminiscent of sunlight rippling through water. Driven by curiosity, I leaned in closer, peering into the depths of the well. Instead of darkness, I was met with a vast expanse filled with swirling lights, resembling stars caught in a gentle whirlpool. Patterns began to emerge within the light, elusive and ever-changing. A soft humming filled the air, barely audible at first, but steadily growing in intensity. The sound harmonized with the pulsing light, creating a hypnotic cadence that blurred the boundaries of time. Wisps of light rose from the well, carrying scents of rain and something ancient and profound. The mist enveloped me without touching, wrapping around my arms like a ghostly embrace. In that moment, I realized the well was revealing glimpses of forgotten memories, ancient ceremonies, and the essence of those who had drawn water from its depths through the ages. As the light slowly dimmed, a sense of profound peace settled over me, as if the well had imparted a timeless wisdom that transcended words. Stepping back, I found the moon had shifted in the sky, marking the passage of time that had slipped away unnoticed. The forest returned to its nocturnal symphony, the crickets resuming their song and the leaves whispering in the breeze. Yet the well remained, its glow now a subtle reminder of the mysteries it held. Since that fateful night, I've revisited the spot countless times, always under the veil of darkness. Occasionally, on clear nights when the moon is full, I catch a fleeting glimpse of that familiar glow through the trees, a reminder of the enigmatic encounter that still lingers in my thoughts. The well's glow remains etched in my memory, a symbol of the ineffable mysteries that surround us, inviting us to embrace the unknown with wonder and reverence. It taught me that some secrets are not meant to be unraveled but to be felt deep within our souls, stirring emotions that transcend the boundaries of time and understanding. Story 10. On a rainy night, the city lights danced hazily on the slick streets as I parked my car. Through the gentle tap-tap-tap of raindrops, a small handwritten note caught my eye, clinging to my windshield. Its message was enigmatic, signed with a handwriting that sent shivers of recognition down my spine. It was my own. The note exuded a scent of dampness and old cologne, and as I lingered in the cool drizzle, a knot of unease twisted in my stomach. The message was simple: meet me where light kisses water at midnight. All will be clear when you arrive. Beneath those words lay my signature, a perfect replica of the loops and curves I had honed over years. The paper felt fragile between my fingertips, as if it had journeyed through time rather than being left on my windshield. Driving home that evening, the note sat on the passenger seat, my gaze flickering to it now and then, half expecting it to vanish. The steady beat of the wipers painted a mesmerizing pattern on the glass, and my thoughts drifted into a realm of possibilities. The cologne's fragrance lingered in my car, stirring elusive memories just beyond my grasp. Back in my apartment, I placed the note on my desk, bathed in the warm glow of a reading lamp. The paper held an aged air, its edges tinged yellow, its texture whispering of bygone eras. But what captured my attention most was a faint watermark, visible when held up to the light, a symbol from my childhood journals etched into the paper. That night, sleep came in waves, interrupted by the gentle pitter-patter of rain on my window. In my dreams, I saw reflections of myself moving through mirrors, each donning attire from different epochs. They passed notes amongst themselves in a silent exchange. Upon waking, the note had transformed. The ink had shifted, unveiling a hidden message beneath the first, only visible in the soft morning light. Time is not what it seems, nor am I. The signature remained unchanged, yet now seemed to shimmer with an ethereal glow, akin to oil swirling on water. I spent the day in tranquil contemplation, observing the rain create intricate patterns on my windows. The outside world seemed to flow at a different tempo, as though time itself bent around the enigma of the note. My phone stayed ominously silent, though I had no memory of turning it off. The clock on the wall ticked with an unfamiliar resonance, each passing second stretching into eternity. By nightfall, the rain had mellowed to a soft mist, beckoning me towards the nearby lake. The water's surface rippled with delicate droplets, whispering arcane secrets. Approaching the shore, I noticed how the streetlights cast shimmering pillars of light upon the water, reaching into its depths. Seated on a bench overlooking the lake, the note now nestled warmly in my pocket, I inhaled the scent of moist earth mingled with that familiar cologne, growing more potent. In the distance, a figure materialized at the water's edge, their silhouette blurred by the mist. Motionless, they observed the interplay of light and water. A gesture of greeting from the figure prompted an instinctive response from me, my hand mirroring theirs without conscious effort. Advancing towards them, the mist twisted into peculiar patterns, forming ethereal doorways that seemed to lead elsewhere. The cologne's aroma intensified, ushering forth a flood of memories, not of my past, but of moments yet to unfold. Never reaching the figure by the lake, I found myself back in my car, the note now bearing a fresh directive. You have treaded here before. You shall return. While the signature remained mine, I comprehended it was not a forgery but an authentic script, penned by my own hand in a moment yet to be lived. The rain continued its gentle descent, enveloping me in a cloak of mystery. Some queries, I realized, were not to be unraveled but rather embraced, akin to the space between raindrops or the pause between heartbeats. The note found its permanent abode in my desk drawer, yet sometimes, in the dead of night, I swear I hear the rustle of paper, rearranging itself into new missives. I still frequent the lake, observing the dance of light on the water's surface. Occasionally I catch glimpses of myself, past or future, a mystery unsolved, standing at various points along the shore. We exchange knowing glances, our unspoken communication laden with messages deeper than words. The enigma of the note remains unsolved, but it has woven itself into my being, a faint echo trailing my steps. In moments of quiet, I find myself reaching for a pen, pondering if, somewhere, sometime, another version of myself is receiving a note I have yet to write. Story 11. The hotel's sign shimmered softly in the misty night, casting a surreal glow that beckoned me closer. The doorman's smile was discreet, almost knowing, as if he held a secret only the night could reveal. The air was heavy with the scent of old wood and wax as I stepped into the lobby, the hushed whispers of the past echoing in the shadows. My room awaited me, a sanctuary of simplicity and comfort. Exhausted from the journey, I sank into the plush bed and succumbed to sleep's gentle embrace. Dreams danced on the edge of my consciousness, weaving a tapestry of memories and mysteries. Morning arrived with a whisper, pulling me back to reality. Descending to the reception, I found myself standing in an empty lot, my only companions the overgrown grass and the morning breeze's gentle caress. The polished wood and leather of the hotel had vanished, leaving behind a landscape untouched by time. The memories of the previous night lingered, vivid and haunting. The weight of the antique brass key in my palm, the softness of the burgundy carpet underfoot, the intricate wallpaper that seemed to come alive in the flickering light, all were etched in my mind with precision. The room itself was a haven of understated luxury. Velvet curtains framed the windows, offering glimpses of a hidden courtyard garden. The scent of lavender lingered in the air, mingling with the soft ticking of an old clock. A lone rose in a crystal vase added a touch of elegance to the bedside table, a silent sentinel in the quiet room. But it was the music that lingered, a faint melody that wove itself into my dreams. The piano's notes, delicate and haunting, carried me to the edge of consciousness, a whispered secret I longed to decipher. It played on, a ghostly presence in the night, a reminder of a reality just out of reach. Days turned into nights, and still, the mystery remained unsolved. The brass key, with its weathered numbers and weight of the past, was a constant reminder of the hotel's fleeting existence. I searched for answers in vain, the world around me offering no solace, no explanation. And yet the key remained, a silent guardian of a memory lost in time. Its presence on my bedside table was a beacon in the darkness, a promise of a reality that defied logic and reason. I held on to it, a lifeline to a world that existed only in shadows and whispers. Perhaps one day, in the depths of a foggy night, I will stumble upon that elusive hotel once more. Perhaps the doorman will be there, his knowing smile welcoming me back to a reality that defies comprehension. Until then, I hold on to the key, a tangible link to a world of dreams and mysteries, of music that plays only in the recesses of my mind. The hotel, with its faded elegance and whispered secrets, lives on in my memories, a testament to a night that defied explanation. And as I drift into sleep, caught between wakefulness and dreams, I listen for the piano's melody, hoping to decipher the message it carries, to unlock the secrets of a hotel lost in time. Story 12. In the dim light of the attic, amidst the whispers of the past, I stumbled upon a collection of faded letters tied with a fragile ribbon. Each page held a story untold, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. The scent of time lingered in the air, mingling with the gentle tap of rain against the window, creating a melody that echoed the beating of my heart. As I delicately unfolded the letters, ancient symbols and cryptic messages emerged, drawing me into a world of enchantment and intrigue. The patterns on the pages seemed to pulse with a hidden energy, as if they held secrets long forgotten by time itself. The first letter, dated a century ago, bore the elegant script of a mysterious writer known only as E. Words intertwined with mystical symbols painted a picture of a reality beyond my own, where gardens bloomed under the midnight sky and music danced without musicians. With each letter I read, the boundary between the ordinary and the extraordinary blurred. The changing seasons, the phases of the moon, and dreams that transcended the waking world wove a tapestry of wonder and curiosity. In the hushed attic, shadows danced and whispers filled the air, carrying tales of clocks that turned backward and mirrors that reflected scenes from distant realms. The old house seemed to sigh with ancient knowledge, sharing its secrets with me as I delved deeper into the enigmatic letters. A particular letter spoke of a gentle ritual involving mirrors and the full moon, offering glimpses into parallel dimensions and echoes of bygone eras. As I pondered the writer's words, a sense of connection to something beyond myself began to take root, like a seed of magic planted in the soil of my understanding. The rocking chair in the corner swayed ever so slightly, a ghostly reminder of generations past who had sat there, spinning tales of family lore. I wondered if my grandmother had known of these letters, if she too had felt the pull of the unknown that beckoned from the pages before me. Time slipped away unnoticed as I immersed myself in the cryptic messages, feeling a profound shift in my perception of reality. The symbols on the pages seemed to vibrate with a life of their own, whispering secrets that eluded rational explanation. The final letter, penned in a trembling hand, spoke of a revelation about time and memory, of echoes that lingered in the fabric of existence. As I reached the end, the dust in the air swirled in intricate patterns, mirroring the symbols that adorned the letters, as if the very essence of the writer's words had come alive around me. Retying the ribbon around the letters, I knew that I had been touched by something extraordinary, something beyond the confines of my understanding. The world outside the attic had shifted, revealing hidden layers of existence that danced at the edges of my awareness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the attic floor, I realized that some mysteries are not meant to be solved but embraced. My own shadow on the wall seemed to hesitate, as if pondering a different path, a path shrouded in enigma and wonder. And so I returned to the attic on quiet afternoons, where the rain whispers its ancient song and the dust dances in a silent ballet. The letters remain a beacon of mystery, a reminder that the world is a tapestry of magic and marvels, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to seek. Story 13. In the soft, warm glow of my bedside lamp, the hallway beyond remained shrouded in darkness. Lying in bed, my gaze fixated on the faint sliver of light seeping under my bedroom door. A shadow glided past, moving with a deliberate slowness that sent a shiver down my spine. No sound accompanied its passage, no telltale footsteps to betray its presence. With hesitant courage, I eventually peeked into the hallway, only to find it deserted. That fleeting encounter unfolded 3 weeks ago, and ever since, the shadow has become a nightly companion, its silent company a familiar yet enigmatic presence. I've grown accustomed to its ethereal visits, though their inexplicable nature continues to intrigue me. While the aged wooden floors of my home serenade the night with their soft creaks and whispers, the shadow moves in absolute silence, defying the natural cadence of the house. Tonight, as raindrops patter gently against my window and the wind murmurs through the trees, I find myself eagerly anticipating its arrival once more. The comforting radiance of my bedside lamp envelops me, casting a cozy sanctuary amidst the enveloping darkness that seems to teem with secrets. The fragrance of lavender from my diffuser blends with the earthy scent of petrichor wafting in through the cracked window, creating an atmosphere of tranquility and mystery. A ritual has evolved around these nocturnal encounters. I brew a cup of chamomile tea, allowing its soothing aroma to permeate the air as I nestle into bed with a book in hand. The shadow unfailingly materializes during those moments when my focus wavers towards the gap beneath the door. Sometimes it lingers, a fleeting specter, while on other occasions it glides past like a wisp of wind. What captivates me most is its responsiveness to my emotional state. During nights plagued by anxiety, it moves languidly, as if seeking to console me. In times of serenity, it drifts by effortlessly, akin to a leaf carried by the autumn breeze. Despite the enigma surrounding its existence, I've never felt threatened by its nocturnal presence. Recollections of my grandmother's tales resurface, stories of houses imbued with consciousness, absorbing the emotions and histories of their inhabitants. Perhaps this shadow is the house's silent guardian, a spectral sentinel ensuring my well-being as I straddle the realm between wakefulness and slumber. The nocturnal ambience alters the essence of my home. Moonbeams illuminate the wooden banister on the staircase, while the aged grandfather clock in the hallway below counts time with a soothing rhythmic cadence that reverberates through the silence. The very air seems pregnant with potential, laden with untold narratives and unspoken truths. Tonight, a subtle shift disrupts our customary ballet. As my gaze fixates on the gap beneath the door, the shadow materializes, and instead of passing fleetingly, it lingers. Minutes trickle by, accompanied by the gentle ticking of my bedside clock. The shadow remains immobile, as though awaiting a cue. Motivated by an inexplicable impulse, I address it for the first time. "Hello." My whisper barely disturbs the nocturnal hush. The shadow stirs, and for a fleeting moment, I discern a sense of recognition, akin to a silent acknowledgement from an old confidant. The ambience in my room warms, embracing me like a soft embrace. The flame of my scented candle flickers gently, untouched by any breeze. Despite my perusal of numerous paranormal texts detailing spirits and unexplained phenomena, none seem to encapsulate this peculiar sense of tranquility. Absent are the chilling drafts, the foreboding dread, the cryptic messages scrawled on walls, or objects that move of their own accord. Instead, there exists a quiet companionship, a shadow that stands sentinel over my nocturnal hours. I ponder whether this shadow has always dwelled here, unnoticed until now. Perhaps it watched over prior inhabitants of this abode, a silent custodian witnessing generations traverse these halls. Maybe all along, it awaited someone to acknowledge its presence, to integrate it into the natural rhythm of the house. As I lie here observing the shadow gradually dissipate like morning mist, a profound peace settles over me. The rain maintains its gentle rhythm on my window as the house settles with its familiar array of creaks and sighs. Tomorrow night, and every night henceforth, I anticipate the return of my enigmatic companion. Come morning, I'll resume my routine, yet a fragment of my consciousness will remain attuned to the approaching dusk, yearning for the quiet communion with whatever traverses my hallway in the dead of night. I've relinquished attempts to elucidate this phenomenon to others. How does one articulate a presence that offers solace rather than fear, enigma instead of apprehension? The shadow has seamlessly woven itself into my nightly rituals alongside my chamomile tea and bedtime reads. As drowsiness tugs at the fringes of my awareness, I observe the faint beam of light beneath my door. The shadow passes by one final time, its movement so ephemeral that it could easily be dismissed as a figment of my imagination. Yet deep within, I comprehend otherwise. Within this abode, amidst the hushed hours between midnight and dawn, not everything necessitates explication. And so, enveloped by the nocturnal whispers of my dwelling, I succumb to sleep, secure in the knowledge that my mysterious sentry shall return, a silent guardian in the profound stillness of the night. Story 14. In a seldom visited corner of the local library, I stumbled upon a weathered leather-bound book that beckoned to me from a dusty shelf. As I delicately turned its brittle pages, a folded piece of paper slipped out, unveiling a map adorned with cryptic symbols that seemed to pulse with a hidden energy. The scent of age and ink wafted from the paper, infusing the air with a sense of mystery and antiquity. Nestled in an armchair nearby, the soft velvet cushions cradled me as the afternoon light filtered through tall windows, casting ethereal shadows on the aged map. Its intricate lines, sketched with meticulous care, guided my gaze along unfamiliar routes and landmarks that whispered of a forgotten world lost to time. Strange symbols, reminiscent of ancient scripts I had never encountered, danced along the margins, adding to the enigmatic allure of the map. The gentle patter of rain against the windows created a soothing cadence that harmonized with the contemplative atmosphere. Running my finger over the map's paths, I noticed a peculiar warmth emanating from the paper, while the ink shimmered faintly in the soft light. A subtle shift in perspective revealed that certain elements of the map seemed to move and transform, as if alive with a hidden purpose. In a forgotten corner of the library, an ancient grandfather clock marked the passage of time with soft melodic chimes, each one causing the symbols on the map to pulse with a subtle glow. Entranced by its secrets, I traced the converging paths that led to a central location marked by an elaborate compass rose, a nexus of mystery and possibility. As the rain intensified outside, blending with the library's ambient sounds of creaking heating vents and rustling pages, a mesmerizing melody enveloped me, drawing me deeper into the map's enigmas. Some of the symbols mirrored those etched into the stone archways of the library, hinting at a connection between the ancient markings and the hidden paths waiting to be discovered. Silently, I ventured into unexplored passages of the library, the warm map guiding my steps with a gentle insistence, its secrets unfolding with each turn. The familiar sounds of the library faded into a hushed anticipation, leading me to a secluded section adorned with the same symbols from the map, where the air carried hints of old books and distant thunder. As evening approached, the library lights brightened, casting unusual shadows that danced and shifted in defiance of the steady illumination. The map, now radiating warmth, revealed hidden paths drawn in invisible ink, inviting me to trace their intricate patterns and unlock further mysteries concealed within the library's depths. With each exploration of the hidden paths, the room's temperature fluctuated subtly, and the shadows seemed to stir in a surreal dance, accompanied by the distorted chimes of the grandfather clock that echoed through the chamber like whispers from another realm. What had begun as a simple afternoon had transformed into a journey through time and space, guided by the mystical map's revelations. As closing time neared, I carefully folded the map and returned it to its rightful place within the book, a solitary symbol adorning the cover in harmony with the compass rose. Yet, when I attempted to check out the book, the librarian's system revealed no trace of its existence, as if it were a phantom tome that existed only in the hidden recesses of the library. Since that fateful discovery, I have returned to the library on rainy afternoons when the light plays tricks through the windows, illuminating the path of the book as it seemingly shifts through the stacks. Other patrons, silently engrossed in similar books with mysterious maps, hint at a shared journey through the library's labyrinthine corridors, though our paths never cross directly. The library has transformed into a sanctuary of endless possibilities, a maze of untold secrets and potential revelations that beckon to those willing to embrace the unknown. On quiet evenings, when the rain taps a rhythmic melody against the windows and the grandfather clock intones its cryptic tune, I unfurl the map and allow its warming touch to guide me through the twisting shelves, always on the cusp of a profound revelation. Perhaps the true essence of the mystery lies not in the final destination the map unveils, but in the journey it offers, a voyage through the quiet spaces between moments, where time unfolds like the pages of an ancient tome, and each shadow conceals the promise of a new world waiting to be unveiled. Embrace the mystery, for within its depths lies the key to unlocking the wonders of a realm beyond imagination. Story 15. In the midst of renovating an ancient building, I stumbled upon a slab of stone adorned with intricate engravings of cryptic symbols and carefully crafted words. The air surrounding it carried a chill of old stone and long-buried memories, each inscription hinting at a chapter of a forgotten tale. Leaning closer, I felt the weight of time pressing down, sensing that this stone held a riddle destined to endure through the ages. Running my fingers over the cool surface, I noticed a subtle shift in the building's whispers, a rhythmic cadence akin to distant breathing. The stone felt unusually smooth, not worn by time, but by the touch of countless hands before mine. As the dim light filtered through the dusty windows, I discerned what seemed like dates, their order defying conventional time. The first decipherable entry spoke of moonlight and shifting shadows, penned in a blend of elegance and uncertainty. When the full moon ascends, shadows here dance against its glow, it revealed. They weave patterns mirroring the stars above. Unconsciously, my gaze drifted to the shadows in my corner, observing their subtle play with the flicker of my lamp. The room's temperature dipped gradually, a cooling sensation reminiscent of autumn evenings with hints of fallen leaves and distant rain. The stone beneath my touch seemed to warm, as if acknowledging my presence, sharing its ancient warmth. The subsequent passage narrated rooms that altered their dimensions at different times of day. The writer meticulously chronicled these changes, walls expanding at twilight, doorways subtly contracting at dawn. Despite the scientific precision, a sense of wonder permeated the observations rather than fear. Settling against an old wooden beam, I delved deeper into the stone's narrative, unraveling layers of a profound yet oddly comforting mystery spanning decades, perhaps centuries. Accounts spoke of faint music resonating from the building's core, shadows pausing momentarily before resuming their ethereal dance. The air thickened with the weight of accumulated memories, my breath synchronizing with the building's ancient murmurs, the time-worn creak of wooden beams, the faint echoes of long-forgotten footsteps. The stone's surface continued to radiate warmth, as if it were a living entity sharing its essence. A particularly intriguing inscription captured my attention. The building retains memory, each stone bearing the imprints of those who passed through. In the quietest moments, their presence can be felt, not as ghosts, but as echoes of lives lived, tales shared, moments enshrined within these walls. Delving further into the stone's enigma, I perceived a shift in the room's light, dust motes suspended in elongated sunbeams that seemed to defy time. The stone's peculiar chronology appeared to influence the very air around me. The final legible inscription, enigmatic yet serene, read, "We are not the first to discover this sanctuary, nor shall we be the last." With each reader, the stone grows warmer, accumulating memories. Some say the building reads us, absorbing our stories as we uncover its secrets. Sitting back, my hand resting on the now warm stone, I found solace in participating in this endless cycle of readers and witnesses, each contributing a chapter to the stone's eternal chronicle. Evening descended, shadows shifting in subtle, otherworldly ways, the air retaining its soothing coolness. Distant notes of music wafted from the building's depths. As I prepared to depart, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in a nearby window, slightly out of sync with my movements. Smiling, I recognized this anomaly as another enigma to be embraced by the stone's narrative. The building had divulged its mysteries, yet I embraced the notion that some enigmas were meant to endure, some stories left gently unfinished. Gathering my belongings, I acknowledged the beckoning of the stone diary, its mysteries offering solace rather than fear. In this ancient realm where time ebbed uniquely and shadows danced to an ethereal melody, I found a peculiar tranquility in the unknown. Story 16. As I paused by the tranquil pond, I leaned closer to gaze at my reflection in the rippling water. But what I saw made me halt. A faint face, barely discernible amidst the gentle waves, unlike my own. The air carried a delicate mist and the nostalgic scent of algae, while the image appeared to murmur an ancient, forgotten tale concealed within the depths. Mesmerized by the serene movement of the water, memories of my grandmother's stories about water spirits drifted through my thoughts. She often spoke of the secrets held in still waters for those patient enough to listen. The soft rustle of leaves above me created a soothing melody, harmonized by the occasional splash of tiny fish breaking the surface. Since that initial encounter, I found myself drawn to the pond more frequently. Each evening, as the sun descended slowly, casting elongated shadows over the water's surface, I would settle on the weathered wooden bench nearby. The water took on an ethereal quality in that light, neither mirror nor window, but something in between. Sometimes I glimpsed that enigmatic face, always on the verge of clarity, like a forgotten word mid-sentence. The locals shared their theories about the pond. Some believed it was fed by underground springs connecting to ancient water systems. Others insisted it was bottomless. An elderly resident nearby mentioned seeing lights beneath the surface on certain nights, speaking with a serene acceptance that left me pondering the truth in his words. On a particularly misty evening, the water seemed different, utterly still, like glass reflecting the deep purple sky above. Enveloped in the comforting silence, I noticed a peculiarity about my own reflection. It seemed to lag slightly behind my movements, observing me with a curious intent. The familiar face emerged more distinctly now, feminine features with eyes carrying centuries of wisdom. In that moment, a gentle pull in my mind began, like the start of a silent conversation. No words were exchanged, but impressions flowed into my thoughts. I glimpsed the pond through time. Centuries of changing seasons, people passing through, secrets held and shared. The face in the water had witnessed it all, safeguarding memories too precious or perilous for the world above. The air grew heavy with moisture, tiny droplets forming on my skin. My clothes dampened gradually, yet I remained immobile, captivated by the wordless exchange. The face revealed more. Ancient rites by the water's edge, lovers pledging vows, children learning to swim, elders finding solace in their final moments. The pond was not merely water, it was a custodian of tales, a silent chronicler of human existence. As night descended fully, with a choir of crickets and the occasional distant owl, I realized hours had slipped by while I sat there. The face began to fade, leaving one final impression, a gratitude for being truly seen, for someone acknowledging its presence after so long. The water rippled gently, as if stirred by an unseen breeze, returning to its usual state. Walking home that night, still damp with mist, I sensed a subtle yet profound change within me. The world appeared richer, layered with hidden significance and untold narratives. I comprehended why my grandmother held water spirits in such reverence. They were not meant to instill fear, but to remind us of the profound connections flowing beneath the surface of daily life. I continue to visit the pond regularly, though never encountering such a clear connection with the face in the water again. Sometimes when the light strikes just so, I glimpse those ancient eyes and feel a familiar, gentle pull in my mind. The pond has become my refuge, where the boundary between past and present, memory and reality, blurs beautifully. People often inquire about my frequent visits to the water, particularly on misty evenings. I merely smile and mention I'm listening to old tales. For some mysteries are meant to be felt rather than understood, experienced rather than explained. In the tranquil ripples of that ancient pond, I've discovered that the line between observer and observed can fade, creating a dance of reflection that transcends the ordinary confines of our world. The face in the water remains my silent companion, a guardian of personal and collective memories. In its presence, I've learned that the most profound mysteries often whisper their secrets to those who pause to listen. to observe, and to wonder. Story 17. On a serene evening while seated on my porch, a haunting melody caught my attention, carried delicately on the breeze, a tune that held both beauty and a hint of sorrow. The gentle notes floated through the air, mingling with the earthy scents of rain and grass. Closing my eyes, I allowed myself to be enveloped by the ethereal music, feeling as though it beckoned from a realm beyond, connecting past memories with enigmatic unknowns. Initially, I suspected the melody emanated from a neighboring house, but its mystical quality hinted otherwise. It seemed to drift like gossamer threads in the wind, elusive yet undeniably present. It evoked memories of my grandmother's antique music box, yet its notes twisted and turned in ways that defied mechanical origins. Compelled by the enchanting melody, I left my porch and ventured barefoot onto the cool wooden steps leading to my garden. The dew-kissed grass beneath my feet grounded me in reality as the music grew faintly clearer. Moonlight filtered through shifting clouds, casting dancing shadows that moved in harmony with the mysterious song. The post-rain hush enveloped the night, each leaf and petal shimmering under the starlit sky. Every evening thereafter, I found myself seated on my porch at twilight, anticipating. Sometimes the melody returned, carrying whispers of far-off places, pine forests, mountain streams, the crunch of autumn leaves. Other times, only the natural symphony of crickets and rustling leaves greeted me. Yet, even on silent nights, I sensed a presence observing, listening, perhaps pondering me as much as I pondered it. Subtle changes began to manifest in my garden. Flowers bloomed out of season, their petals glowing iridescent under the moon's gaze. The wind chimes, a gift from my mother, chimed in harmony with the phantom melody, defying still air. My cats perched on windowsills, attuned to invisible movements, tails swishing to the unheard music. One crystalline night, as the melody meandered through my garden, I witnessed a marvel. The dewdrops on spiderwebs among the roses ascended, floating skyward like tiny crystal notes escaping into the night. A sense of wonder, not fear, enveloped me as moonlit droplets transformed into miniature prisms, casting rainbows across my garden. I began documenting these occurrences in a journal, noting how the melody shifted with the moon's phases. During the new moon, it whispered like a lullaby. But as the moon waxed, the melody deepened, layering harmonies that defied singular origins. Sometimes I awoke to a pulsing light in my room, synchronized with the phantom melody, painting ephemeral patterns on my walls. My dreams swirled with half-remembered tunes and faces just beyond recognition. Curious artifacts began appearing in my garden, humming stones, iridescent feathers, and shells that echoed the mysterious melody when held to the ear. I stored these treasures in a wooden box by my bedside, where they softly sang to each other on quiet nights. As the seasons shifted, the melody evolved, incorporating the rustle of autumn leaves, the whisper of snowfall, or the hum of summer insects. It became a constant companion, shrouded in mystery like the day I first heard it. Visitors to my garden sensed a peaceful aura, a distortion of time that only I seemed to perceive. I refrained from unraveling the enigma of the phantom melody, believing some mysteries are meant to be embraced rather than explained. Writing by candlelight on my porch, I still hear it drifting through the evening, a reminder of the magical spaces where mystery dances. The melody persists, bridging worlds, beckoning dreamers to envision wonders just beyond the veil of perception. The true gift lies not in answers, but in the gentle reminder that mystery itself can bring solace, a soft melody whispering of undiscovered marvels awaiting those patient enough to listen. Story 18. In the hush of my living room, during the late hours of the night, a gentle piano melody unfurled, filling the room with its ethereal presence, even though no visible hands graced the keys. The notes meandered through the dimness, ricocheting off the walls, merging with the aroma of ancient books and dust. I sat ensnared, a mix of captivation and disquiet swirling within me as the haunting tune materialized seemingly out of thin air. The soft moonbeams filtering through the curtains cast a shimmering veil over the piano's gleaming surface. I observed as each key descended in perfect harmony, weaving a melancholic nocturne that was unfamiliar to my ears. The melody, though simple, carried a depth of emotion that tugged at my heartstrings, evoking a profound sense of yearning. Enveloped in my grandmother's well-worn quilt, I remained nestled in my armchair, allowing the enigmatic music to enfold me in its embrace. The wooden floor beneath me radiated its customary warmth, while the steady cadence of the grandfather clock in the corner provided a soothing backdrop to the otherworldly composition. As the melody persisted, subtle shifts in the room's ambience became apparent. The air cooled imperceptibly, bearing a delicate hint of lavender, the signature fragrance of my grandmother. The flames in the fireplace flickered languidly, as though enchanted by the music's spell. Each note lingered in the air, distorting time and lending a dreamlike quality to the moment. I found myself shutting my eyes, striving to etch every detail of this extraordinary experience into my memory. The piano's resonance possessed a peculiar quality, akin to raindrops cascading into a tranquil pond, each note creating ripples that intermingled with the others. Beneath the primary melody, whispers of other songs seemed to echo, fragments of familiar tunes just beyond recognition. Upon reopening my eyes, the moonlight had shifted, casting new patterns of shadow across the room. The music had softened, assumed a more contemplative air. I discerned nuances previously unnoticed, the subtle sway of the piano's sheet music stand, the precise movement of the pedals, the faint creak of the piano bench devoid of any visible weight. Memories surfaced unbidden. Evenings of yore spent listening to my grandmother's piano serenades, her nimble fingers dancing across the keys, imparting simple melodies to me. I recalled her habit of closing her eyes during particularly poignant passages, as if the music bore her to a distant realm. The enigmatic pianist seemed to respond to my reminiscences. The melody morphed, intertwining with fragments of the lullaby my grandmother used to play for me. Harmonies emerged, blending joy and sorrow in a seamless tapestry of sound. The room's temperature continued its subtle flux, creating pockets of warmth reminiscent of embraces long past. Shadows on the walls swayed in time with the music, and I fancied I glimpsed ghostly hands gliding over the keys, vanishing whenever I tried to focus on them directly. Time became a fluid entity, its passage indistinct. The melody decelerated, each note deliberate, fading gradually like a voice receding into silence. A gentle breeze brushed my cheek, carrying the familiar lavender scent now mingled with the earthy fragrance of aged wood and piano polish. As the final notes dissipated into the stillness, the room settled into a tranquil quietude. The piano keys lay dormant, yet an inexplicable energy tinged the air. The grandfather clock tolled softly, heralding the approaching dawn, and I realized the night had waned. The enigma of who or what had orchestrated the nocturnal piano recital eluded me. The melody lingered in my memory, unreplicable in its entirety. On serene evenings when moonlight bathed the room in its silvery glow, I would ensconce myself in the armchair, anticipating a recurrence of those mysterious notes. Though the invisible pianist remained elusive, a sense of familiarity often graced the space, as if an unseen presence hovered near the keys, poised to commence another nocturne at the opportune moment. The piano endured in its place in the living room, gathering dust between sporadic polishings. Yet, on passing by, a faint trace of lavender wafted in the air, and the keys exuded a lingering warmth reminiscent of that extraordinary night. Perhaps some enigmas were never meant to be unraveled, but rather embraced, cherished, held close to the heart like cherished memories blurring the boundaries between dreams and reality. Story 19. The soft crackle of static filled my quiet apartment, emanating from the old radio that had sat untouched for years. In the gentle glow of my reading lamp, the antique wooden cabinet held the radio, a relic from my grandmother's days. As rain tapped gently against the window panes, creating a soothing rhythm, I found solace in my book, wrapped snugly in my cherished blanket. The tranquility of the evening was abruptly interrupted by a faint whisper that emerged from the radio, a voice so familiar and hushed, it seemed to be a figment of my imagination. It murmured words known only to me, words that stirred memories long dormant. The radio, a silent sentinel on my grandmother's side table, seemed to come to life with this mysterious voice that spoke of secrets shared between us. "I remember the butterfly," it said, a phrase that sent a shiver down my spine. This butterfly, a symbol of our bond, had alighted on me during her funeral, a moment I had kept sacred and undisclosed. The voice persisted, cutting through the static, revealing another hidden truth. "You still keep the origami birds in the shoebox under your bed." My heart skipped a beat at this revelation, for these delicate paper cranes held wishes known only to her and me. The room filled with a familiar scent, a blend of dried lavender and old books, her signature fragrance that enveloped me like a comforting embrace. The ambiance shifted, the temperature dropping to a pleasant coolness, reminiscent of mornings in her garden. Memories poured forth from the voice, unlocking forgotten moments, the hidden key in the garden wall, the encrypted recipe for her blackberry tea, her clandestine humming of Moon River. Each recollection washed over me like a gentle wave, stirring emotions long dormant. The static, once jarring, now melded into a soothing background, akin to the rustle of leaves in a quiet forest. Her voice, unmistakably hers now, wove tales of sunlit afternoons and untold stories, transporting me to a realm of shared experiences. In that timeless space, the rain outside became a distant melody, harmonizing with her words. My eyelids grew heavy, yet I clung to wakefulness, fearful of missing a single syllable. Her narrative unfurled, unfurling the threads of our past, until it began to fade into the static once more. I yearned to grasp onto those fading whispers, to unearth the answers left unsaid, but an invisible force restrained me. Some enigmas, it seemed, were destined to linger in the realm of the unknown. The final words, like a moonbeam piercing through clouds, resonated deeply within me. The best secrets are the ones that remind us we're never truly alone. And with that, the static ebbed away, leaving only the symphony of rain and the hushed cadence of my breath. I never dared to switch on the radio again, yet on certain nights when the rain falls just so and the light catches the radio's wood in a certain way, I swear I detect a faint whisper of static. In those fleeting moments, I am reminded that while some secrets are meant to be cherished in silence, others find their voice in the most unexpected of ways. Story 20. The rain tapped gently against the window, creating a symphony of tranquility in the room. The air carried the earthy scent of rain-kissed wood and the comforting aroma of hot tea, lazily swirling in a mug on the desk, wisps of steam rising like silent whispers. It was a night made for losing oneself in the pages of a book, letting the words carry you into the realm of dreams. But then, as if a spell had been broken, 3 sharp knocks shattered the peaceful stillness, each one ringing out with a sense of purpose. I held my breath, the unexpected interruption sending a shiver down my spine. No one was supposed to visit at this late hour, especially not in the dead of night. The old armchair beneath me creaked softly as I shifted, the well-loved paperback in my hands momentarily forgotten as I marked the page with care. The clock on the wall, its hands pointing to 11:47 p.m., added its gentle ticking to the soothing patter of rain outside. Living on the top floor of the building meant that unannounced guests were a rarity, even during daylight hours. The notion of someone standing outside my door in the dark of night set my nerves on edge, a wave of goosebumps prickling my skin. I remained still, straining my ears to catch any sound amidst the rain's soft melody and the comforting hum of the radiator. Perhaps it was just my imagination, running wild from hours spent immersed in ghostly tales. With a sigh, I settled back into the embrace of my chair, wrapping the soft blanket snugly around me. But then there it was again. 3 distinct knocks, evenly spaced, each one echoing the last with eerie precision. My heart quickened, not out of fear, but out of a strange familiarity that tugged at the fringes of my memory, like a half-remembered dream hovering just out of reach. Rising slowly, my footsteps muffled by the softness of my socks on the wooden floor, I followed the soft glow of the reading lamp towards the door. Shadows danced playfully on the walls, cast by the warm light, creating a dance of light and dark that seemed almost alive. As I neared the door, a peculiar observation gave me pause. The usual draft that whispered beneath the door was conspicuously absent, a stark contrast to the storm raging outside. Placing my palm against the smooth surface of the door, I felt an unexpected warmth seeping through, as though the wood itself held a secret fire within. In that moment, with my eyes closed, I focused on the sensory details surrounding me: the gentle rain, the distant rumble of thunder, the subtle vibration of the door against my hand. 3 more knocks sounded, softer this time, as if hesitant, as if the unseen visitor sought to make their presence known without causing alarm. The warmth from the door pulsed with each knock, a gentle rhythm that seemed to flow through me, filling me with a sense of calm. Memories of my grandmother's tales flickered in my mind, her words about nights when the barriers between worlds grew thin, when visitors from realms beyond sought to impart forgotten truths. Some doors, she would say, lead to places beyond our comprehension. Standing there, hand pressed against the door that seemed to radiate warmth, I wondered if this was what she had spoken of. The knocks ceased, yet the residual warmth lingered, a comforting presence that throbbed gently, like a heartbeat echoing in the silence. The rain outside had shifted its tempo, falling in a pattern that mimicked the earlier knocks, as though nature itself was attuned to the mysterious visitor's rhythm. Time seemed to stretch and twist, a fluid entity that defied logic, while the ambient light in the room took on a golden hue, casting everything in a soft, otherworldly glow. My surroundings, the books lining the shelves, the furniture draped in shadows, the steam rising from the forgotten tea, all seemed bathed in a mystical light, as if touched by a hidden magic. That night, I chose not to open the door. Instead, I stood in that moment of suspended reality, feeling the warmth slowly ebb away as the rain resumed its random downpour. When I returned to my armchair, I discovered the tea still warm, as if time had stood still in that brief interlude. The clock, unchanged, read 11:47 p.m., a constant in the shifting currents of the night. Now, on nights when the rain falls softly and the world holds its breath, I sense that same warmth emanating from the door, a gentle reminder of the enigmatic encounter that changed something within me. I've learned to cherish these fleeting moments, these hints of a reality beyond our grasp. The mysterious visitor never returned, but their presence left an indelible mark on my soul. I've come to realize that some mysteries are not meant to be unraveled, but rather embraced as part of the intricate tapestry of existence, like whispers in the night that dissolve before they can be deciphered. My grandmother's wisdom echoes in my thoughts. Some doors are best left unopened, not out of fear, but out of reverence for the delicate balance between the known and the unknowable. The true enigma lies not in the identity of the visitor, but in the awakening of a hidden aspect of myself that I never knew existed. That night, as sleep claimed me in its gentle embrace, a profound sense of peace enveloped me, a serenity I had never before experienced. The rain continues to fall, the clock continues its steady march, and sometimes on nights of quiet reflection, I feel that familiar warmth against my palm. And in those moments, I smile, content in the knowledge that some questions are best left unanswered, their mysteries weaving a lullaby that guides us into the realm of dreams. Story 21. In the depths of night, enveloped by the hushed whispers of ancient tomes and the rich scent of brewing coffee, a subtle shift in the shadows caught my attention. A figure, ethereal and out of place, lingered in the corner of my study, its presence both unsettling and strangely familiar. Rain tapped gently against the window, a soothing serenade to my solitary endeavors. The soft glow of my antique lamp bathed the room in a golden hue, illuminating the weathered spines of countless volumes that lined the shelves, each bearing the weight of untold stories and forgotten wisdom. As I grappled with the enigmatic visitor before me, I felt a subtle change in the room's atmosphere. The air grew cooler, imperceptibly so, sending a shiver down my spine. The remnants of warmth from my coffee cup dissipated rapidly, leaving behind a delicate film of moisture on its surface. Shadows danced playfully, casting intricate patterns that defied logic, while the leather-bound books absorbed light in a way that seemed almost unnatural, creating pockets of darkness that beckoned exploration. A mysterious fragrance wafted through the air, a blend of ancient parchment, morning dew, and something indefinable, an aroma that spoke of forgotten realms and distant whispers carried on the wind. The figure in the corner remained motionless, a silent sentinel that seemed to waver in and out of focus. Avoiding direct gaze, I observed its reflection in the window, where it stood with a solidity that defied explanation. My research notes lay abandoned, the words on the page appearing foreign and cryptic in the shifting shadows. The ink seemed to writhe of its own accord, forming sigils and symbols I could almost decipher, yet never quite grasp. Pages rustled faintly, though no breeze stirred the stillness of the room, and the ticking of the grandfather clock took on a hypnotic cadence, a dialogue between time and the unknown. Caught between waking and dreaming, fear gave way to a curious fascination. The figure, once an intruder, now felt like a long-lost companion from a half-remembered dream. Reality blurred at the edges, melding with the realm of imagination as the night deepened, and I lost track of when its presence had first made itself known. Eyes heavy with wariness, I watched as light and shadow wove intricate tapestries on the walls, each book pulsing with a silent energy that whispered of untold secrets and hidden truths. The rain outside murmured a cryptic message, a language of the elements beyond my comprehension. In the liminal space between consciousness and slumber, I understood that the figure had always been there, a silent witness to my scholarly pursuits, a companion in the quiet hours of the night. With the approach of dawn, a subtle fading began, the figure receding like mist before the morning sun. Shadows returned to their rightful places, the enigmatic scent dissipated, and the clock resumed its steady ticking. My notes, upon closer inspection, bore no trace of the otherworldly presence, save for a single symbol, a curved line intersecting 3 dots, a mystery left unsolved. To this day I feel its presence lingering in the late hours, a silent guardian of my nocturnal musings. Perhaps it awaits a moment of revelation, or perhaps it finds solace in the shared solitude of our twilight encounters, a spectral companion in the ethereal dance between dusk and dawn. Story 22. In a soft afternoon drizzle, I made a choice to wander along a forgotten path near the edge of a dense forest. The rain painted the ground with the fragrance of damp earth and decaying leaves, forming shimmering puddles that mirrored the world above. To my surprise, the trail would fade in and out, as if nature itself was playing a game of hide and seek. I ventured forward, surrounded by the symphony of raindrops and dancing shadows, my heartbeat synchronizing with the mysterious stillness enveloping me. The gentle rain tapping on the leaves created a hypnotic rhythm as I delved deeper into the misty unknown. Each step I took in the squelching mud felt purposeful, as if guided by unseen forces. The air became heavy with moisture, carrying echoes of ancient whispers long forgotten by time. Strange circular patterns adorned the moss-covered trees, their symmetry almost too perfect to be natural. As I continued my journey, the rain transformed into a soft mist, casting a peculiar tranquility over the forest. The path ahead would materialize clearly one moment, only to fade into obscurity the next, re-emerging further down the line. It was as though the very trail I walked on was alive, pulsating with each passing moment. This enigmatic phenomenon intrigued me rather than instilling fear, drawing me deeper into the heart of the woods like a gentle beckoning hand. Time seemed to warp in this mystical realm. My watch continued its rhythmic ticking, yet the minutes stretched and compressed unpredictably, making it impossible to gauge the passage of time. I found myself pausing frequently, captivated by the way the mist caressed certain trees while avoiding others entirely. The moisture in the air left delicate droplets on my skin, each one a whisper of acknowledgement from the forest itself. Further into the woods, I stumbled upon a marvel, patches of ground where my footprints vanished mere moments after I left them, as if the earth sought to erase any trace of my presence. The ground felt different beneath my feet in those spots, almost responsive, akin to walking on velvet. A subtle vibration hummed in the air, resonating deep within my being. Other anomalies revealed themselves to me. Rain falling upward in clearings, stones rearranging themselves in intricate patterns when I looked away. Rather than instilling fear, these mysteries filled me with a profound sense of wonder and tranquility. The forest's symphony expanded beyond the rainfall. Faint echoes of wind chimes drifted through the air, their source unseen among the ancient branches. The melodic notes trailed behind me, weaving through the trees like threads of silver in an unseen tapestry. My breath slowed instinctively to match this ethereal rhythm, my mind entering a state of peaceful alertness. As the day waned, the vanishing act of the trail grew more pronounced. Whole sections would dissolve, leaving me standing on untouched forest floor, directionless. Yet, an inner compass guided me effortlessly, a natural intuition as familiar as breathing. The mist began to take on hues of soft blues and purples, pulsating with an inner glow. Luminescent motes floated through the air, responding to my gestures in graceful choreography. The forest sparkled with these gentle lights, each one a beacon in the gathering dusk. When I decided to retrace my steps, a profound realization dawned on me. The path hadn't vanished, but had taught me to move through the woods without leaving a mark, to blend harmoniously with the ancient trees. The disappearing trail was not a puzzle to be solved, but a lesson in unity with something greater than myself. As I journeyed homeward, the rain resumed its gentle descent. The forest exuded a sense of contentment, and I grasped that I had been granted a rare glimpse into its mysteries. The vanishing path had not only led me through the woods, but through the veil that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Even now, I can sense the gentle tug of that mysterious path, ever changing, ever teaching, forever vanishing and reappearing like a breath on a mirror. Story 23. While delving into the depths of time within the confines of my attic, I stumbled upon a forgotten canvas hidden behind an old, weathered trunk. The painting, though incomplete, depicted a figure caught in the midst of a transformative process, a delicate dance between light and shadow, with features that stirred a sense of uncanny recognition deep within me. The air was heavy with the scent of aged paper and memories long past, wrapping me in a cocoon of nostalgia and curiosity. As I focused on the intricate brushwork, a peculiar sensation washed over me, as if the portrait held whispered secrets of a bygone era I had never inhabited. Settling into a worn wooden chair, I watched as specks of dust pirouetted in the faint beam of light filtering through the small attic window. The painting seemed to come alive in the dim glow, its unfinished contours blending into the raw canvas like watercolor seeping into ancient parchment. The face on the canvas existed in a state of ethereal ambiguity, certain features crystalline in their clarity, while others dissolved into obscurity, as if the artist's hand had been interrupted in the midst of creation. The soft groans of the house's aged structure provided a soothing backdrop as I lost myself in silent contemplation, my fingertips tracing the weathered frame, each groove a whisper of bygone years. There was a magnetic pull in the eyes of the portrait, painted with such precision that they seemed to hold a depth extending beyond the boundaries of the canvas itself. With the approach of evening, the quality of light in the attic shifted, casting a golden hue that draped long shadows over the wooden floorboards. The temperature dropped imperceptibly, carrying the crisp scent of impending autumn through a crack in the window. In the growing darkness, a peculiar phenomenon unfolded before my eyes. Certain brushstrokes appeared to shift direction depending on the angle of view, creating a mesmerizing illusion in the twilight. Unfinished elements hinted at myriad possibilities, now a hint of a smile, now a trace of melancholy, a fluid dance of emotions captured in strokes frozen in time. Time seemed to warp within the confines of that attic space, hours slipping by unnoticed as I delved deeper into the enigmatic portrait. Behind it, a faded inscription revealed itself. "Remember, the light changes everything." The elegant yet wavering handwriting hinted at a dreamlike state of mind, forging an invisible bond between myself and the elusive artist who had left their creation incomplete. Bringing old journals and faded photographs from around the house, I scattered them around the portrait on the dusty floor, each offering a tantalizing glimpse into the identity of the figure portrayed. Yet, the answers remained elusive, hidden within the murmurs of the ancient house, a language I struggled to decipher. On restless nights, I ascended the narrow stairs to sit in silent companionship with the portrait, bathed in the ethereal glow of moonlight filtering through the window. In those hushed moments, whispers seemed to emanate from the unfinished spaces, a melodic hum reminiscent of half-forgotten lullabies from childhood. Gradually, a subtle shift occurred in my perception of the portrait. Vague features began to solidify in my mind, though they remained trapped in unfinished limbo on the canvas. The eyes, so meticulously rendered, seemed to chart different paths depending on my emotional state, gazing outward on serene nights, introspective during storms, reflecting the kaleidoscope of my own inner world. The portrait transformed into a mirror of emotions, a conduit for buried memories and unspoken fears. In the quiet of the attic, I shared stories with it, whispering dreams and anxieties into the void, the ambient sounds of the house blending with my voice in a symphony of solitude. The incomplete nature of the painting beckoned me into a realm of boundless potential, allowing my imagination to wander through infinite variations of what could have been. I crafted a theory about its purposeful incompleteness, a deliberate choice by the artist to capture a perpetual state of becoming, a fluid evolution that defied finality. I relinquished the urge to unravel the mystery of the portrait's origin, assuming the role of its custodian instead, guarding the delicate equilibrium between revelation and obscurity. The attic morphed into a sanctuary where time flowed at its own pace, blurring the line between observer and observed, much like the blurred edges of the unfinished masterpiece before me. Years drifted by, yet I continued to ascend those stairs, drawn to the silent communion with the enigmatic portrait. Sometimes I brought a small notebook, documenting the ever-shifting interplay of light and shadow on the canvas, the perpetual metamorphosis of the unfinished elements. But more often, I sat in tranquil silence, enveloped in the presence that had woven itself into the fabric of my existence. The portrait remained a tantalizing enigma, its incompleteness a testament to its eternal evolution, unveiling new facets not only of itself but also of those who beheld it. The mystery demanded no resolution, only a patient unraveling, a journey of quiet introspection in the soft, dust-laden glow of the attic's embrace. Story 24. In the hush of an early morning stroll through the tranquil park, a peculiar sensation guided me towards a colossal oak tree, its ancient presence commanding attention. Tracing the gnarled bark with a curious touch, my gaze fell upon a series of intricate carvings that softly glowed in the dim light. The symbols, weathered but purposeful, emitted an enigmatic energy, whispering of secrets veiled by time itself. A blend of earthy scents and the rustle of leaves stirred an otherworldly ambiance, as if the tree harbored a clandestine message intended solely for my eyes. Running my fingers along the rugged surface, I felt the stories etched within, each groove a silent narrator of the past. The morning mist danced at my feet, weaving ethereal patterns that mirrored the enigmatic symbols before me. Overhead, the gentle sway of leaves provided a soothing symphony, accompanied by the distant melody of birdsong carried on the cool breeze. As I delved deeper into the engravings, they seemed to shift and transform, unveiling a tapestry of letters from diverse alphabets, some recognizable, others foreign to my eyes. Among the intricate carvings, recurring motifs emerged, a spiral echoing the golden ratio, and symbols reminiscent of ancient star patterns. Lost in contemplation, time itself seemed to slow to a tranquil pace, enveloping me in a realm where reality and dreams intertwined seamlessly. The oak tree soon became my sacred refuge, a sanctuary where the boundaries between the tangible and ethereal blurred. Each day brought a new revelation, the interplay of shadows cast by the branches adding layers to the carvings, or the morning dew glistening like liquid silver in certain crevices. My morning routine evolved into a ritualistic communion with the tree, a silent dialogue between me and the ancient sentinel. One mist-laden morning, a subtle shift in the carvings caught my eye. Fresh symbols had appeared overnight, or perhaps they had slumbered beneath the surface, awaiting their moment of revelation. A gentle charge electrified the air, and the whispers of leaves overhead grew more urgent. Enveloped in a scent of antiquity and familiarity, like aged parchment and dried blossoms, I felt compelled to transcribe these cryptic messages into my notebook, capturing their elusive essence in pencil strokes. The symbols, as I sketched them, began to weave a narrative not bound by time or space. Some markings bore the freshness of recent etchings, while others seemed weathered by the passage of ages, hinting at a collaboration of souls across eras to inscribe this arboreal manuscript. Immersed in my quest for understanding, the local library became a haven of knowledge, unveiling connections between these enigmatic symbols and ancient cultures. As my fascination deepened, the oak tree began to infiltrate my dreams, its branches reaching into the realms of my subconscious, imparting messages that transcended language. In my nocturnal visions, the carvings spoke of cycles and seasons, of silent observers and storytellers who had walked the same path, felt the same pull of the ancient oak. It became apparent that this tree was not merely a canvas for markings, but a custodian of memories, a sentinel bearing witness to the silent narratives woven in bark and blade. With the passage of time, a profound realization dawned upon me. The mystery itself was the message, a reminder that some truths are meant to be felt rather than deciphered. The oak tree stood as a bridge between the known and the unknown, a testament to the enduring human impulse to communicate across the expanse of time. Though the enigmatic origins of the carvings remained shrouded, the connection I forged with this ancient guardian transcended the boundaries of comprehension. Now, on quiet afternoons, I bring my notebook to the timeless oak, where I sit beneath its sprawling canopy, penning my reflections and musings amidst the symphony of whispered stories embedded in its bark. Not as carvings to mar its ancient skin, but as silent offerings to the enigmatic tale woven through the annals of time. The oak tree maintains its silent vigil, its messages ever evolving yet constant, a gentle reminder that wonder and mystery endure in the spaces between knowledge and imagination. Story 25. In the quiet confines of my modest backyard garden, a realm where time dances lazily and the chaos of the world fades into the distant horizon, a peculiar discovery awaited me. While tending to the earth, nurturing the blooming flowers and the lush greenery, my eyes caught sight of delicate footprints etched into the damp soil. These imprints, small yet purposeful, led a mysterious path towards the depths of the overgrown shrubs, disappearing into the verdant thicket. The air was heavy with the sweet fragrance of jasmine, mingling with the earthy scent of fresh soil and vibrant blossoms. As I knelt to trace the trail left by these enigmatic footprints, a subtle feeling of being observed enveloped me, like a whisper on the breeze. The sunlight filtered through the canopy above, casting intricate patterns of shadow that swayed gently on the ground, painting a mesmerizing tapestry of light and dark. The footprints, uniquely human-like in their shape and deliberate stride, puzzled me. They defied the characteristics of any known animal tracks, too small for a cat, too defined for a bird. Each step seemed purposeful, leading me deeper into the garden's embrace. The wind chimes hung still, their melodious song silenced by an unseen force, adding to the mysterious aura that surrounded me. Curiosity guided my steps as I followed the trail each day, watching as the footprints faded with the changing weather, only to reappear in altered patterns come morning. They weaved through the rose bushes, wandered amidst the herb garden, always culminating at the thicket where they vanished into the greenery as if by magic. Intrigued by this mystical phenomenon, I began leaving small offerings near the old stone fountain, berries freshly plucked from my garden, wildflowers delicately arranged, and dabs of honey in ceramic vessels. Each dawn revealed the gifts mysteriously replaced by intriguing tokens, spiraled shells of unknown origin, stones aglow under the moon's soft light, and intricate patterns sketched in the soil using unfamiliar seeds. The transformation within my garden did not go unnoticed by the neighbors' children, who peered over the fence in wonder at the newfound vibrancy of the flora and the abundance of ethereal creatures flitting about. Moths and butterflies adorned with hues beyond description graced the garden, adding to its enchanting allure. One tranquil evening, bathed in the pastel hues of the setting sun, I sat upon my weathered wooden bench near the fountain. The night-blooming flowers filled the air with their intoxicating perfume, while fireflies waltzed in a gentle ballet above the flower beds. As the fountain's melody lulled me into a peaceful reverie, a faint rustling in the thicket caught my attention. Eyes closed, I sensed the presence of a figure, small and ethereal, seated at the edge of the fountain. Its form shifted between solidity and transparency, akin to the morning mist under the first light of dawn. We shared a wordless exchange, a silent understanding that transcended fear or surprise, as if this encounter had been destined from the moment the first footprint appeared. In the being's gaze, I glimpsed a wisdom as ancient as the earth itself, a knowing mirrored in the intricate designs of nature, in the symmetries of petals and the spirals of shells. Without spoken language, I comprehended that my garden was not merely a plot of land, but a nexus, a meeting point between realms unseen. As night descended, the figure gradually dissolved into the shadows, leaving behind a single footprint filled with water that shimmered like celestial light. From that moment onward, my garden bore a new essence, brimming with quiet possibilities and untold wonders. The footprints continued to grace the soil sporadically, the offerings persisted, but I ceased my attempts to unravel the mystery. Instead, I tended to the garden with renewed purpose, embracing the understanding that some spaces exist in the liminal realm between dream and reality, between the known and the unknown. The footprints remained, a gentle reminder that magic does not always announce itself with grand gestures, but whispers through the earth, leaves delicate imprints in the soil, and transforms the ordinary into the marvelously strange, imbuing our lives with a sense of tranquil enchantment. Story 26: The Enchanted Theater. Enthralled by an unexplainable desire to delve into the unknown, I found myself drawn to an ancient theater nestled on the edge of town, its former grandeur now cloaked in decay. The elaborate balconies and plush velvet seats whispered tales of a time long past, resonating with echoes of applause and theatrical fervor. Stepping onto the weathered stage, a faint, ethereal voice brushed against my ears, weaving lines saturated with sorrow and yearning. The sound lingered in the air, bouncing off the aged walls, mingling with the musty aroma of neglected dreams and forgotten ambitions, casting doubt on the notion that the theater was truly deserted. A soft autumn breeze meandered through unseen crevices, orchestrating a delicate symphony of rustling papers and distant murmurs. My footsteps, hushed on the time-worn boards, elicited gentle sighs from the wooden stage beneath me. The atmosphere enveloped me in a peculiar density, as if I were traversing through layers of memories suspended in time. Above, the majestic chandelier hung motionless, its crystals veiled in dust, yet occasionally catching stray beams of light that filtered through the lofty windows, painting intricate patterns that danced along the walls. Intrigued, I gravitated towards the stage's wing, where draped props lay shrouded in sheets resembling gentle waves in the dim light. The enigmatic voice, now a mere whisper, seemed to beckon from that direction. Among the forgotten relics, I stumbled upon an ancient dressing room mirror, its surface obscured by age, yet emitting an otherworldly shimmer. As I drew near, the ambient temperature dropped subtly, creating a chill that was more invigorating than chilling. The mirror pulsed with a mystifying energy, its reflection revealing elusive movements that did not mirror my own, like spectral echoes of performers from a bygone era honing their craft. The voice, now faintly discernible, perhaps that of a woman, recited verses from what appeared to be a tragic love story. Her melodious words carried a soothing yet melancholic cadence, enveloping me in a bittersweet embrace. Time seemed to warp within this space, minutes stretching into endless hours as I unearthed relics of the past, crumbling playbills, costumes redolent with a faint perfume of yesteryears. The voice continued its gentle soliloquy, guiding me through the forgotten recesses of the theater. In the orchestra pit, ancient sheet music lay scattered across weathered stands, their notes faded, yet perceptible, as if anticipating the return of musicians to breathe life back into their melodies. As evening descended, the shifting light through the windows cast elongated shadows that seemed to move with purpose across the empty seats. The voice, now more pronounced yet never rising above a hushed murmur, led me to a well-preserved velvet chair, where I sat entranced by the ballet of dust motes twirling in the waning sunlight. The theater pulsed with a living heartbeat, its walls expanding and contracting with the weight of countless narratives. In this tranquil interlude, I comprehended that the voice was not addressing a singular soul, but the theater itself, reliving its storied past. Each uttered word interwove fragments of performances long gone, of ovations and farewells, of debuts and curtain calls. As night draped its velvety cloak over the world, the voice assumed a new profundity, resonating from all directions at once, infusing the air with a gentle vibration that transcended mere sound. Though the words grew clearer, their essence remained tantalizingly elusive, akin to grasping at fragments of a fading dream upon awakening. The chandelier, now bathed in moonlight, cast iridescent reflections that shimmered like ethereal aurora borealis across the vaulted ceiling. I teetered on the threshold between wakefulness and slumber, the voice a soothing lullaby serenading me into a realm where reality and fantasy intertwined seamlessly. In these twilight moments of lucid awareness, I glimpsed phantom spectators, their forms hinted at by the interplay of moonbeams and shadows. They sat in reverent silence, enraptured by the voice just as I was. A profound serenity descended with the night, suffusing the theater with a tranquil aura. Gradually, like a receding tide, the voice ebbed away, leaving behind a residue of gratitude, as if my presence had validated the myriad tales enshrined within these walls. The theater settled into a quietude, its timbers creaking and sighing like an old friend preparing for slumber. When I rose to depart, the voice had dwindled to a mere whisper, a faint echo reverberating in the recesses of my mind. Yet the theater felt transformed, imbued with a newfound vitality despite its abandonment. With each step towards the exit, the aged floorboards protested softly, a reminder that some places never truly relinquish their essence. They merely await a willing listener to unveil their secrets. Even now, months later, I find myself drawn back to that enchanted theater during the nocturnal hours. The voice lingers, sometimes a mere whisper, a gentle nudge reminding me that behind every curtain, beneath every layer of dust, lies a treasury of untold stories, yearning to be heard by those who pause to listen. The theater endures as a sanctuary where the boundaries of past and present blur, where memories pirouette like dust motes in the moon's embrace, eternalized in the gentle echoes of that enigmatic voice, a testament to the enduring magic of a bygone era. Story 27. In the tranquil hush of the night, weary from the day's toils, I sought solace in the sanctuary of my bathroom. The tendrils of steam unfurled from the hot shower, veiling the mirror in a delicate dance. Amidst the swirling mist, ethereal words materialized, etched in a script so faint, it seemed almost a figment of imagination. A fragrance of soap, now laced with an ancient essence, wafted through the air, prompting questions of the enigmatic origin of these mysterious messages. Standing in reverent silence, I beheld as more letters emerged from the mist, bathed in the warm luminescence of the room, casting soft shadows that danced upon the walls. The rhythmic patter of water droplets from the shower harmonized with the cadence of my own heartbeat, weaving a tranquil symphony. The words, elegantly inscribed, bore a semblance to the faded letters I once unearthed in my grandmother's attic. "Remember the music box," the message beckoned. Curiously, a distant memory stirred within me, a faint echo at the periphery of my thoughts, reminiscent of a half-forgotten dream. Intrigued by the cryptic message, that night led me to the forgotten recesses of my attic. Each creak of the wooden stairs echoed a tale of antiquity, releasing the aroma of aged timber into the moonlit chamber. Illuminated by the silvery gleam filtering through the window, the shadows pirouetted among the relics of yesteryears. The air carried a tapestry of scents, blending the fragrance of old books with the essence of reminiscence. Nestled in a corner, beneath a velvety shroud that caressed my fingertips like a whisper, awaited an ornate wooden box. Its surface, cool to the touch, bore intricate carvings of entwined vines and blossoms that seemed to sway in the dim light. Upon lifting the lid, instead of a melodic tune, a gentle patter of rain greeted my ears. Within lay a collection of letters, their parchment aged yet crisp, penned in the same graceful script that adorned the misted mirror, unveiling tales of a hidden realm intertwined with our own. The writer spun narratives of unseen portals veiled in morning mist, of murmured dialogues with the wind, and of mirrors that beheld more than mere reflections. Night after night, the bathroom mirror bore new enigmatic messages, each guiding me to a new revelation within the confines of my abode. Sometimes a forgotten daguerreotype nestled within the pages of an antiquated tome, other times a trinket evoking memories long dormant. Far from instilling fear, these messages exuded a gentle reassurance, akin to counsel from an unseen confidant. The wooden floorboards beneath my bare feet resonated with a whispered lore, as though harboring secrets within their grain. By nightfall, the familiar nocturnal symphony of the house unfolded. A soft creaking of floorboards, the wind's hushed whispers through keyholes, the gentle tap of tree branches on windows. These customary sounds metamorphosed into a language, one I gradually deciphered. One twilight, as autumn leaves pirouetted outside my window, a message seized my breath. Look beneath the floorboard where the morning sun first alights. With bated anticipation, I observed the dawn's gentle caress upon my bedroom floor, unveiling a slightly divergent board. With a delicate touch, it yielded, revealing a recess beneath. Nestled within lay a leather-bound journal, its pages inscribed in the familiar hand I had come to recognize. Yet it was a small note on the initial page, scribed in my grandmother's familiar penmanship, that captured my gaze. For when you're ready to see. As I transcribe these words, an ethereal presence lingers, gentle and vigilant. The mirror's cryptic messages, once shrouded in mystery, now evoke a sense of belonging. In moments of tranquility, when the house slumbers and the evening light casts its gentle glow, fleeting movements and reflective surfaces catch my eye. Not eerie, but rather redolent of a nostalgic lullaby. I've learned that some enigmas need not be unraveled, that certain mysteries are best lived rather than deciphered. The unseen hand that scripts the mirror's messages has become a companion in solitude, a reminder that magic dwells in the quiet interstices, in the whispers between heartbeats, in the subtle nudges that hint at a world beyond sight. The messages persist, and I, in turn, follow their ethereal trail. Each night, as I prepare to surrender to slumber, the misted mirror heralds not trepidation but eager anticipation. In this realm betwixt reality and reverie, I've unearthed a unique tranquility, one inscribed in steam and murmurs, in the language of shadows and forgotten melodies. Story 28. On a moonlit journey back home, the nearly deserted subway car felt unusually burdened. Nestled in the far corner, a lone figure sat in silence, their gaze fixed on me as the train navigated through shadowed tunnels. The air hung heavy with the mingling sense of sweat and stagnation, and a disquieting sensation of being observed settled upon me. The gentle sway of the car and the rhythmic clatter of wheels against tracks wove a mesmerizing tapestry that typically would have ushered me into slumber. Yet this night held a different allure. My focus continuously gravitated back to the stranger, whose mere presence seemed to warp the very essence of the world around them. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered sporadically, casting eerie shadows that danced across the worn metal walls. I detected a peculiar quality about my fellow traveler. Their silhouette seemed slightly blurred, as if seen through a rain-soaked window. Each blink or shift of my gaze would momentarily sharpen their outline before it softened once more. The effect was subtle enough to attribute to weary eyes, if not for what unfolded next. The stranger extended their hand in what seemed a gesture of greeting, but the motion left lingering trails in the air, reminiscent of sparklers painting light streaks in the night sky. Each movement created ripples in the surrounding space, distorting the advertisements on the walls behind them. The temperature within the car plummeted, sending shivers down my spine. Time began to stretch and contract, breathing in sync with my own. The intervals between stations expanded, the darkness beyond the windows growing deeper and more profound. The usual ambient sounds of the subway, the rush of air, the mechanical creaks, the distant echoes, all faded into a soft, velvety silence, leaving only the heartbeat rhythm of wheels on rails. I found myself scrutinizing their attire, a blend of modernity and antiquity. A coat that could have been worn yesterday or a century past. Shoes that shifted styles when not under direct observation. Their visage remained shrouded in shadow despite the harsh lighting, as if darkness itself clung to them. The stranger began to hum, a melody that eluded my ears but resonated within my chest, evoking childhood lullabies and forgotten reveries. My eyelids grew heavy, a battle between comfort and disquiet waged within. Subtle alterations unfolded within the subway car. Advertisements morphed into different images when glanced at peripherally. Metal poles bent at impossible angles before snapping back to normal upon focus. Window reflections portrayed scenes of gardens, libraries, distant galaxies. The stranger rose gracefully, their movement akin to water in weightlessness. Taking a step toward me, I noticed their feet barely grazed the floor. An opalescent shimmer enveloped the air around them, akin to heat waves rising from sunlit pavement. Their presence exuded an ancient wisdom and boundless patience. Seated across from me, a fleeting glimpse of their face revealed kindness and antiquity, familiar yet impossible to fix in memory. Their voice, like wind through autumn leaves, spoke without moving their lips. "You see beyond the surface," they murmured. "Rare is the one awake in this late hour of reality." The urge to respond, to unravel the mysteries flooding my thoughts, dissipated as a profound tranquility enveloped me. The train's gentle rocking transformed into a cradle, the darkness outside melting into a comforting embrace. The stranger's aura no longer felt menacing, but rather akin to encountering a long-lost companion on the brink of remembrance. Upon reopening my eyes, the subway car appeared vacant. The harsh buzz of the fluorescent lights and the standard advertisements returned to prominence. The air reverted to its usual temperature, and the subway's familiar sounds resumed their melodic drone. Yet a subtle iridescence clung to my attire in the window's reflection, akin to dewdrops on a spider's web. In my pocket, a ticket stub surfaced, bearing inscriptions in an unknown alphabet that I comprehended effortlessly. Henceforth, during late-night subway rides, I observed my fellow passengers attentively. Occasionally, when light strikes just so, I catch glimpses of blurred outlines and lingering after-images. And on rare occasions, a distant hum resonates not in my ears, but in my very core, a gentle reminder that reality flows far more fluidly than perceived, especially within those transitional realms between consciousness and slumber. Story 29. In a quaint art gallery nestled in a serene corner of the city, I stumbled upon a painting that seemed to possess a mysterious allure, changing its essence each time I gazed upon it. The colors danced subtly, and the eyes of the subject followed my every move with an eerie precision. The atmosphere was thick with the fragrance of oil and turpentine, enveloping me in a sensation that the artwork was alive, observing, waiting. It was 6 months ago when I took on the role of night guard at this unassuming gallery, seeking solace and peace after years of bustling retail chaos. The night shift embraced me like a familiar friend. It was just me, the art pieces, and the soft hum of the climate control system preserving the precious collection. The painting that intrigued me hung in the western wing, where moonbeams often filtered through the skylights, casting enchanting shadows on the polished wooden floors. It portrayed a Victorian-era parlor, bathed in muted browns and rich burgundies, with a solitary figure seated in a grand chair. The figure, a woman cloaked in darkness, her features partially veiled by shadows, yet her eyes, those eyes held a mesmerizing depth, almost glowing. During my nightly patrols, I began to notice subtle shifts. Initially, I dismissed them as mere tricks of light or figments of my imagination taking flight in the silent hours. But I started capturing moments with my phone, comparing the images day after day. The woman's stance would alter ever so slightly, a hand migrating from her lap to the armrest, her head tilting at a different inclination, the room's shadows ebbing and flowing. The changes unfolded so gradually that no one else seemed to perceive them. The daytime staff carried on with their duties. Visitors snapped pictures, and art enthusiasts sketched diligently in their notebooks. Yet, in the stillness of the night, when the only melody was the gentle patter of rain on the skylights, I could discern the painting's subtle metamorphosis. I found myself lingering more in that wing, perched on a wooden bench opposite the artwork. The soft whir of the ventilation system transformed into a meditative symphony as I scrutinized each brushstroke, every nuanced shift in hue. Sometimes I brought my thermos of chamomile tea, its comforting floral aroma mingling with the familiar scent of aged wood and canvas that filled the gallery. On one particularly tranquil night, with moonlight filtering through wispy clouds, I noticed a new element in the painting. Behind the woman's chair, partially shrouded in the parlor's shadows, stood a door that I could swear was not there before. Slightly ajar, it revealed naught but darkness beyond. The woman's gaze seemed to hold a secret knowing, as though sharing a truth she could not vocalize. I found myself lost in extended moments of contemplation before the painting. The gentle creak of the gallery's ancient wooden floors evolved into a soothing lullaby, and the darkness beyond that painted door seemed to beckon with infinite possibilities. At times, in the threshold between wakefulness and slumber, I fancied I could perceive the whisper of fabric, the rustle of the woman's dress as she shifted in her seat. What captivated me most was how the painting mirrored my own inner landscape. On tranquil nights, the parlor emanated warmth and welcome, the shadows tender and embracing. During storms, when thunder rumbled distantly, the room's corners darkened, and the woman's expression bore a hint of forewarning or concern. The gallery owner, noting my fascination with the piece, shared its enigmatic origin one morning as I concluded my shift. The painting had been donated anonymously, arriving without any trace of its creator or history. Efforts to date it or attribute it to an artist had yielded no conclusive results. The techniques employed spanned various eras, rendering it unplaceable in any specific period. As the months unfolded, I forged a profound bond with the enigmatic artwork. The woman became a silent companion during my solitary nights, her ever-shifting presence a reminder that reality is more fluid than we comprehend. The soft radiance of the security lights, the gentle murmurs of the heating system, and the faint creak of settling walls formed a cocoon of tranquility around our shared vigil. The mystery of the painting's transformations remained unsolved by me. Perhaps it was the interplay of moonlight and shadow, or perchance something more inexplicable was at play. Nonetheless, I came to realize that certain enigmas are best left uncharted, existing in that ethereal realm between the tangible and the imagined. Now as I sit in the hushed gallery, observing the waning sunlight paint the walls in amber hues, I notice that tonight, the door in the painting has widened its gap. The woman's expression carries a whisper of invitation, and for an instant, I ponder what might unfold if I could step through that canvas into her realm. Yet for now, I am content to linger in this tranquil threshold, where reality and dreams intertwine like threads in an endless tapestry. Story 30. After a long day, I entered the elevator in my building, only to discover it wasn't completely empty. In the far corner stood a solitary figure, silently observing the closed doors. The gentle hum of the elevator mingled with a chilling sensation, leaving me with a lingering uncertainty about the mysterious presence of this passenger. The soft whirring of the machinery enveloped the enclosed space as I selected my floor. The dim lighting cast a golden hue, deepening the shadows in the corners. My companion remained still, draped in a long dark coat that seemed to meld with the shadows. Their features eluded me, yet a strange familiarity emanated from their presence. As we ascended, I felt the gradual drop in temperature. Thin layers of condensation formed intricate patterns on the metal walls, catching the light in mesmerizing ways. An inexplicable scent, reminiscent of aged books and autumn leaves, permeated the air, urging me to breathe slowly, as if unveiling secrets with each breath. The floor numbers glowed softly, reflecting off the moistened walls. However, something felt amiss about their sequence. We passed floor 3, then 7, followed by 2, an order that defied logic. I blinked, trying to clarify my vision, but the irregular pattern persisted. The stranger appeared unperturbed, as if time distortion was a natural occurrence. My watch had ceased its ticking, frozen at 6:47, though I distinctly recalled leaving work well past dusk. The elevator's movement now felt like a gentle float, with floor transitions marked by subtle vibrations. The mechanical sounds transformed into a melodic rhythm akin to distant wind chimes. My reflection appeared on the polished doors, but the stranger's image was conspicuously absent. Yet their presence loomed behind me, their gaze palpable. The air grew dense with unspoken narratives and hidden messages. My fingers traced the cool metal handrail, discovering faint engravings that seemed to form cryptic words in unfamiliar languages that I inexplicably comprehended. These inscriptions spoke of patience, observation, and countless voyages through this vertical passageway of time and space. The stranger shifted, revealing pale, elegant hands holding an ancient brass key that shimmered faintly in the dimness. It bore a striking resemblance to the key I had found in my grandfather's study the previous week, the same key absent-mindedly tucked into my pocket that morning. My key suddenly felt weighty against my jacket. As I touched it, the elevator lights flickered in sync with my heartbeat. The stranger's key emitted a soft, pulsating glow that matched the rhythm of my own pulse. The space between us thickened with possibility as the elevator continued its enigmatic journey, traversing floors that defied reality, drawing us closer to an enigmatic destination. The silence between us deepened, laden with significance. It was not the awkward silence of strangers sharing a confined space, but a profound quiet hinting at a shared undisclosed secret, a secret I had yet to fathom. Time ebbed and flowed, the elevator's motion almost imperceptible, suspending us in a moment beyond moments. Frost patterns on the walls wove intricate tales, as if whispering ancient mysteries. Swaying slightly, I felt a strange calmness amidst the surreal ambience. The stranger's presence no longer unsettled me. It felt akin to a half-remembered dream or a forgotten memory resurfacing. The key in my pocket radiated warmth, merging with my skin until boundaries blurred. The number display above the door remained static, showcasing a symbol unfamiliar to me, oscillating between a numeral and a letter, defying focus. The stranger's breath, previously unnoticed, synchronized with mine, creating a harmonious rhythm. Standing there, observing the impossible numbers and feeling the weight of the key, realization dawned. This elevator ride transcended mere transportation. It was a convergence of destinies meticulously orchestrated across time. The stranger's presence held purpose. They were here to reveal, to lead me towards a door unbeknownst to me. Upon the elevator's halt, the doors opened onto a floor inconceivable within the building's blueprint. An elongated corridor materialized, adorned with ethereal doors crafted from light rather than conventional materials. The stranger advanced, their key raised, prompting my own key to respond, guiding me forward. That night, I never reached my designated floor. Instead, I found myself trailing the stranger through that surreal corridor, my key radiating warmth with each step. Occasionally, on tranquil nights, I venture into the elevator, yearning to reunite with them. And sometimes when sunlight dances on the walls, I glimpse frost patterns that evoke memories of that extraordinary night, of the stranger who unveiled the existence of doors leading to realms between known floors. Story 31. In the hushed solitude of an abandoned subway tunnel, a subtle, unearthly luminescence caught my attention, beckoning me into the depths of the shadows. The air hung heavy with the scent of decay and history, a silent call weaving through the stillness. As I ventured closer, the glow unveiled layers of ancient graffiti and worn tracks, whispering of enigmatic truths concealed beneath the city's skin, secrets veiled in anticipation. A distant, gentle hum of machinery provided a serene undercurrent as I delved further into the tunnel's embrace. My footfalls reverberated softly against the arched walls, blending harmoniously with my breath in a rhythmic cadence. Each step led me into cooler realms, carrying hints of mineral-laden springs and weathered stone on the breeze. The mysterious light ahead remained steady, neither intensifying nor waning, casting soft shadows that danced along the tunnel's weathered facade. Drawing nearer, I observed how the light appeared to pulsate, expanding and contracting in a hypnotic tempo. Its allure was captivating, almost trance-inducing, pulling me deeper into its ethereal grasp. Droplets of water orchestrated a quiet symphony, their melodic patter adding to the tunnel's natural chorus. The sound mirrored wind chimes in a gentle zephyr, harmonizing with my subdued footfalls. Aged maintenance signs, their paint fading and peeling, caught the peculiar light, transforming into abstract masterpieces that ignited my imagination. The source of the glow remained elusive, always seeming to linger just around the next curve. Yet I felt no urgency to reach it, content to let the enigma unfurl at its own unhurried pace. The tunnel's curvature played tricks on sound, at times carrying whispers from seemingly impossible distances, echoes of conversations that might have traversed decades. Time slipped away in this subterranean realm. The temperature held steady, the air caressed by gentle currents bearing the essence of minerals and aged metal. My fingers traced the rough concrete walls, alternating between rough textures and smooth patches where water had sculpted the surface over eons. Venturing deeper, subtle shifts in the environment began to emerge. The graffiti morphed into intricate patterns, featuring symbols unknown to me. They seemed to twist and transform when viewed from different angles, creating a mesmerizing effect that was both beautiful and unsettling. The glow illuminated these designs in a way that made them almost animated, as if they yearned to convey a message just beyond my grasp. The tunnel gradually opened into an antiquated maintenance chamber. Here, the mysterious light pooled like liquid sunshine, casting soft shadows that swayed and merged with one another. Dust-covered machinery cast elaborate silhouettes on the walls, each shadow narrating its own tale of the workers who once inhabited these underground passages. At the chamber's heart stood an ancient control panel, its surface coated in a delicate layer of mineral deposits that glittered in the peculiar light. Approaching closer, I noticed that some indicator lights still flickered, pulsing in a hypnotic rhythm. The panel hummed with a barely tangible vibration that seemed to harmonize with the radiant glow enveloping the space. What drew my gaze most was a weathered logbook, its pages aged and brittle, resting open on a nearby desk. Entries, penned in various hands spanning decades, recounted encounters with the same ethereal light that now bathed the chamber. Some described a sense of tranquility in its presence, while others spoke of vivid dreams that lingered for weeks. The last entry, dated just months prior, hinted that I was not the only recent visitor to this forgotten enclave. The glow appeared to acknowledge my discovery of the logbook, pulsing gently as if recognizing my presence. Nestling into an aged chair, its cracked leather still inviting, I delved into the entries, absorbing their tales with care. Each narrative added a new layer to the mystery, yet none unveiled a definitive explanation for the light's origin or purpose. Surrounded by the gentle glow and the soothing sounds of the tunnel, I felt a profound connection to those who had traversed this path before me. The light continued its mesmerizing dance, prompting the realization that perhaps its true essence was not meant to be comprehended, but rather savored and contemplated in tranquil solitude. The final pages of the logbook lay blank, awaiting fresh narratives. Though tempted to inscribe my own encounter, I opted to leave the pages untouched. Some enigmas are best preserved, awaiting new explorers with fresh perspectives and open hearts. Retracing my steps through the tunnel, the glow gradually receded behind me, yet its warmth lingered in my memory, a gentle whisper that not all mysteries need evoke fear. Even now, I feel the pull back to that tunnel, though I tread not as deeply as before. The mystical light persists, I am certain, perpetuating its eternal waltz in the shadows, anticipating the next curious soul to embrace its tender radiance. In quiet moments, I reflect on that profound journey, finding solace in the notion that some queries are most beautiful when left unanswered, their enigma a soft lullaby for the mind's wanderings. Story 32. Amidst the stillness of a local museum filled with historic portraits, one painting beckoned to me with an inexplicable allure. Nestled within its background, a faint figure lurked among the other subjects, a spectral presence unlike any other in the gallery. The whispers of bygone eras and the crisp, aged scent of polished wood enveloped the space, stirring a sense of intrigue within me as I pondered the identity of this hidden figure. The gallery basked in a tranquil emptiness that afternoon, only occasionally disrupted by the soft tread of a passing guard, shattering the serene quietude. Autumn's gentle rays streamed through lofty windows, casting elongated shadows upon the gleaming hardwood floors and illuminating a ballet of dust particles twirling in the golden light. The air held a distinctive museum aroma, a fusion of ancient wood, oil pigments, and the faint metallic tang of gilded frames. My attention was repeatedly drawn back to a specific portrait on display. It depicted a Victorian family, elegantly posed in their opulent drawing room, adorned in their finery. The mother exuded grace from her perch on a regal chair, her dark velvet gown cascading in rich folds, while the father stood stoically behind her, a hand resting upon the ornate chair's carving. 3 children were artfully arranged around them, but it was the enigmatic figure in the background that captivated my gaze. Veiled behind a painted curtain, it materialized as a mere hint of form, a darker shadow amid shadows. The more I scrutinized it, the more convinced I grew that this detail was an anomaly, a recent addition to the painting. Time seemed to slow to a crawl as I stood there, my reflection ghostly in the glass shielding the canvas. The atmosphere near this painting felt different, chillier, akin to standing by a frost-kissed window on a winter's day. My fingertips traced invisible patterns in the air close to the frame, mirroring the lines of the mysterious figure without breaching the protective barrier of glass. The guard's rhythmic patrols marked the passage of time as I delved deeper into the portrait. With each round, fresh intricacies unveiled themselves. The subtle shifts in the hidden figure's posture, the family members' eyes evading direct contact, the subtle metamorphosis of the children's expressions from innocence to knowing when viewed from various angles. A soft voice behind me startled me from my reverie. A stunning piece, wouldn't you say? The curator, a silver-haired woman with wire-rimmed glasses, stood beside me. You've been entranced by it for quite some time, I nodded, gesturing towards the background figure. I'm curious about this element here. Was it part of the original painting? She smiled, though a flicker of unease shadowed her features. Ah, you see it too. How intriguing. Her tone held a genuine astonishment. This portrait has a storied past. Commissioned by the family in 1876, the artist vanished before its completion. Upon receiving the finished work months later, the family was baffled as to who had finished it. They insisted the background figure had not existed during the sitting. Her words settled over me like a gentle snowfall. Most peculiar, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, is that over time, visitors who notice the figure often perceive different manifestations. Some discern a man, others a woman, and some even a child. Yet they unanimously agree, it seems to observe them back. As if in response to her words, the gallery's illumination subtly shifted. A passing cloud veiled the sun, momentarily dimming the space. In that fleeting shadow, I could swear the figure edged closer to the family in the portrait, no longer concealed behind the curtain. The curator's gentle touch on my arm roused me. We'll be closing soon, my dear, but it seems the painting has taken a liking to you. Not all can discern the figure, you know. Perhaps return tomorrow. Sometimes, with frequent visits, you might discern further alterations. The family members might shift positions, or new objects could materialize in the room. A regular visitor insists the children mature with each encounter. I expressed my gratitude and collected my belongings. Yet as I prepared to depart, my reflection in the painting's glass captured my attention once more. Fleetingly, I spied the hidden figure standing behind my own reflection, its presence more palpable than before. Yet, when I looked again, it had retreated to its customary place within the painted tableau. That night, as sleep embraced me, a sense of profound mystery lingered within my thoughts. The curator's words echoed in my mind. The painting seems to like you. Slumber descended gradually, ushering dreams of ornate frames and endless corridors lined with paintings where figures transcended their confines to tread among the living. Since that day, I have revisited the museum countless times. Hours drift by as I observe the interplay of light upon the canvas, noting subtle alterations that may be mere tricks of illumination, or perhaps something more profound. The enigmatic figure remains a steadfast presence, always there yet never quite the same, a silent guardian of secrets rendered in oils and shadow. What captivates me most isn't the enigma of the portrait's completion, or even the essence of the figure itself. It's the painting's discerning nature, choosing certain viewers to unveil its enigmas while remaining a mere family portrait to others. Perhaps some artworks harbor more than mere pigments and canvas. They harbor gateways to realms where the boundaries between art and reality, observer and observed, blur like wet paint on a palette. The portrait still hangs there, beckoning those attuned to its hidden depths. Sometimes, in the hush of the gallery and the perfect light, I ponder if the figure in the background watches me as intently as I observe it, each of us locked in an eternal exchange across the ethereal threshold dividing our worlds. Story 33. On a misty evening, as I secured the locks on my apartment, a peculiar sight caught my eye. A door hidden behind an ancient bookshelf, its presence previously unnoticed. The door exuded a cold, unyielding aura, accompanied by a faint, enigmatic hum that seemed to beckon from the other side. Intrigued, I reached out, and the air filled with the musty fragrance of long-forgotten memories, pulling me towards the unknown. The rain's gentle rhythm against the window pane provided a soothing soundtrack as I stood there, contemplating this enigmatic discovery. Crafted from what seemed to be aged wood, the door bore intricate patterns that danced and shifted with each glance. My fingertips traced the elaborate designs, as if deciphering a tale inscribed in a cryptic language. The soft glow of my reading lamp cast mesmerizing shadows, distorting time's usual boundaries, making it fluid and elusive. Lost in the interplay of light and shadow, I swayed slightly, entranced by the door's mysterious allure. The familiar sounds of my apartment, the soft hum of the heating system, the distant tick-tock of my grandmother's antique clock, faded into a tranquil whisper. Despite its lack of a handle or hinges, the door emitted a subtle warmth, akin to the lingering touch of summer sun on stone. The carved motifs morphed in my mind's eye, a spiral reminiscent of ocean waves, curves mirroring birds in flight. The scent around the door shifted, evolving from musty to earthy, with hints of rain and night-blooming flowers. Each breath I took unveiled new fragrances, notes of vanilla, aged books, and a mysterious essence akin to starlight. Nestled in my cozy armchair by the door, wrapped in a soft blanket, I watched as moonbeams painted silver streaks across the wooden surface. The earlier hum now formed a gentle melody, more sensed than heard, like a childhood lullaby remembered. Hours drifted by in peaceful contemplation, shadows within the patterns seeming to ripple like water or fade into transparency. As dawn approached, a remarkable discovery awaited me. Beneath the door, instead of my apartment's hardwood floor, glimpses of other realms appeared. Swaying grass, silver sand, even celestial bodies twinkling in a cosmic void. In the growing light, I pondered opening the enigmatic door, yet an inner knowing suggested that its mystery lay not in revealing its destination, but in embracing its transformative presence. Some nights when sleep evades me, I sit near the door, attuned to its gentle hum. It remains closed, its secrets untouched, but it has become a symbol of magic in the familiar, a portal to a realm where reality blurs with wonder. The shifting patterns and ever-changing sounds behind the door offer solace, a reminder that some mysteries are meant to be savored, not unraveled. In its unopened state, the door leads nowhere yet everywhere, guiding me to a realm of tranquility and marvel. It has taught me to find contentment in the unknown, to appreciate the beauty of unanswered questions. The door's enigmatic nature has opened a path to a deeper understanding of the unexplained, a profound appreciation for the mysterious that dwells within the ordinary. Story 34. As I sorted through forgotten treasures tucked away in a dim corner of my home, my fingers stumbled upon a locked drawer nestled within an ancient desk. With a gentle coaxing, the drawer yielded to reveal a carefully folded note resting inside. The aged paper, tinged with the passage of time, bore the graceful script of a bygone era, hinting at untold secrets woven into the fabric of the house's history. A delicate fragrance of cedar and antiquity wafted from the note, beckoning me to peer into its enigmatic depths. Slowly unfurling the fragile parchment, a hushed whisper of antiquity filled the room, mingling with the soft caress of evening light filtering through lace curtains, painting ethereal patterns upon the worn surface of the desk. The atmosphere thickened with anticipation, yet a serene tranquility enveloped me, akin to the quietude preceding a gentle rainfall. The note commenced with a date long past, penned in flowing strokes that evoked a sense of nostalgia. "My dearest friend," the words began, drawing me into a tale brimming with intrigue and mystery. The author's narrative unfurled a tapestry of peculiar occurrences within the very walls that sheltered me. Phantom footsteps echoing in empty corridors, elusive movements of objects in unoccupied rooms, and the enigmatic appearance of fresh blooms in a particular vase under the full moon's watchful gaze. Enthralled, I sank deeper into the embrace of my chair, captivated by the secrets unfurling before my eyes. A hidden chamber concealed within the labyrinthine structure of the house emerged as the focal point of the writer's revelations, harboring not material riches, but a trove of memories suspended in time. The steady cadence of my grandfather clock's ticking provided a rhythmic backdrop as I delved further into the writer's account, the pendulum's sway casting a hypnotic spell. The discovery of an ancient journal secreted within the walls, chronicling the lives of the house's erstwhile inhabitants, unveiled a narrative thread woven with dreams shared across generations and whispered confidences that transcended temporal confines. As twilight descended beyond the window panes, I kindled an antique brass lamp, casting a golden luminescence upon the pages that chronicled bygone tales. References to cryptic symbols etched into doorframes throughout the house piqued my curiosity, their significance veiled until the writer unveiled their role as a map leading to the clandestine chamber. Tracing my fingertips along the edge of the parchment, I absorbed the writer's quest to decipher the enigmatic symbols, their prominence waxing and waning with the lunar phases. The serenade of wind rustling through the foliage outside accompanied my reverie, casting ephemeral shadows that danced upon the walls of my sanctuary. A conviction blossomed within the writer, a belief that the house pulsated with memories, not as a source of dread, but as a benevolent sentinel safeguarding tales of yore. As I approached the note's denouement, a revelation of extraordinary dreams that blurred the lines between past and present unfolded. Vivid recollections of a woman draped in a sapphire gown, her silent visage pregnant with unspoken truths, visited the writer's slumber, imparting cryptic messages concerning the intertwining of time and remembrance within the house's confines. The final passage bore an enigmatic prophecy. When the midnight bells toll 13 times, and moonlight bathes the seventh step, The path shall unveil itself to those who hearken with their hearts rather than their ears. Holding my breath, I absorbed these cryptic verses, attuned to the subtle symphony of nocturnal whispers pervading my abode. The murmurs of floorboards creaking, the zephyr's tender hum, and the imperceptible passage of time. Unwitnessed, the note concluded without a signature, leaving me adrift in a sea of unanswered queries. As I delicately folded the parchment, a faint sketch caught my eye, a geometric pattern that tugged at the fringes of my memory, its familiarity elusive. Glancing up from the desk, I discerned a deepening dusk cloaking the room, save for the gentle radiance cast by the flickering lamp. The house exuded a subtle metamorphosis, not of foreboding, but of an intimate cognizance of the myriad narratives enshrined within its ancient walls. Each shadow, every creak, and the slightest shift in the air bore newfound significance, whispering of untold histories waiting to be unfurled. Retreating the note into its resting place, I abstained from securing the drawer, sensing that this was but the prologue to a grander enigma, destined to unfurl gradually like the dawn's gradual ascent. Enveloped by the encroaching twilight, I pondered the prospect of dreaming of the enigmatic woman draped in cerulean flesh, contemplating the profundities she might unveil in the hush of night. The grandfather clock's ceaseless cadence accompanied my ruminations, its steady pulse a familiar companion in the encroaching stillness. In the distance, a distant church bell tolled, its chimes a distant echo in the realm of reverie. Absently counting the tolls, my thoughts lingered on the mysteries enshrined within the note, until the final peal dissipated into the ether, leaving in its wake a scarcely perceptible rustle, akin to the whisper of a sapphire gown traversing an empty chamber. Story 35. In the depths of my attic, amongst forgotten relics of time, I stumbled upon a weathered photograph nestled within the pages of an ancient album. The picture, a glimpse into a bygone era, seemed to possess a subtle movement as I held it in my hands. A delicate aroma of aged roses and yellowing parchment wafted around me, weaving a tapestry of nostalgia and intrigue. Were the figures captured in that momentous scene trying to convey a tale lost to the ages? The dwindling rays of the late afternoon sun filtered through the dusty attic window, casting a warm, golden hue upon the aged wooden floorboards. Nestling into an old rocking chair, the soft creaking of the aged wood beneath me lulled me into a tranquil state. My fingertips traced the frayed edges of the photograph, absorbing every minuscule flaw etched upon its surface. The snapshot portrayed a garden soiree from a time of elegance and grace. Women adorned in flowing gowns and men in dapper attire stood frozen in time, their serene smiles hinting at concealed secrets. In the backdrop loomed a stately Victorian manor, its windows reflecting the setting sun of a distant evening. One figure in the image captured my attention. A woman in a pristine white gown, slightly distanced from the others, her gaze fixed upon the camera with an enigmatic expression. As I delved into her features, a peculiar sensation enveloped me. A subtle drop in temperature in the attic and a heightened fragrance of roses. Closing my eyes momentarily, I surrendered to the tranquility of the attic's solitude. Upon reopening my eyes, a peculiar shift had occurred. The light within the photograph had metamorphosed. The captured sunset now pulsed with a soft, radiant glow previously unseen. The woman in white seemed to have subtly altered her posture, her hand extending towards an unseen horizon. Enthralled, I was drawn deeper into the photograph's enigmatic allure. The ambient sounds began to transmute. The chair's creaks harmonized with distant melodies reminiscent of vintage gramophones. The scent of roses intensified, intermingling with hints of Earl Grey tea and freshly baked pastries. As my gaze remained fixed on the photograph, the boundaries between past and present blurred into a seamless continuum. The figures within the image acquired depth and vitality, akin to watercolors bleeding into life. The woman in white emerged with increasing clarity, a pendant adorning her neck catching the light in mesmerizing patterns. The ambient temperature continued its gradual descent, prompting me to draw my sweater snugly around me. Shadows within the attic extended, yet the photograph retained its ethereal luminosity. Intricate details came into view. A teacup poised on a garden table, its contents swirling gently. A butterfly suspended mid-flight, its delicate wings quivering as if touched by an imperceptible breeze. Time itself seemed to ebb and flow as I swayed in the rocking chair, enveloped in a dreamlike state. The woman's gaze met mine across the chasm of years, conveying an unspoken message. Her pendant gleamed anew, mirroring one I had stumbled upon in my grandmother's forgotten jewelry box long ago. As dusk descended outside the attic window, the luminance within the photograph dimmed, returning the figures to a state of stillness. The music faded, leaving behind only the faint fragrance of roses mingled with the mustiness of the attic. Tenderly restoring the photograph to its album, I acknowledged the inevitability of revisiting its mysteries another day. Descending the attic stairs, the weight of my grandmother's pendant against my chest served as a poignant reminder of the interconnectedness of past and present. In the hush of evening, echoes of a distant waltz lingered in the air, a tantalizing reminder of time's enigmatic passage. Some enigmas, I realized, are best left as gentle secrets suspended between reality and reverie. The woman in the pearl-white gown had imparted her enigma unto me, a riddle destined to remain partially unsolved. Such enigmatic tales, akin to photographs brought to life at the precise moment of revelation, fade back into the soft embrace of memory until the cycle of time deems them worthy of rediscovery. Story 36. In the midst of an exploration in an ancient public library, I stumbled upon a hidden passage concealed behind a row of neglected books. A faint beam of light, its source unknown, lured me into the narrow corridor. The air was heavy with the scent of bygone paper and secrets, and with each cautious step, it felt as though I was crossing a threshold into a veiled realm where history intertwined with enigma. My footsteps, soft against the aged wooden floor, created a gentle rhythm that seemed to harmonize with the ancient pulse of the building. As I delved deeper into the passage, the familiar sounds of the library gradually faded, giving way to a profound silence that felt almost melodic in its completeness. The walls were adorned with peculiar wallpaper, its shifting pattern catching my eye in my peripheral vision, but remaining eerily still whenever I tried to focus on it directly. Tracing my fingers along the cool wall, I felt faint irregularities that might have been cryptic text or symbols, elusive in the dim light. The passage curved subtly to the left, the temperature dropping slightly, causing goosebumps to rise on my skin. The soft, pearl-like glow that bathed the space seemed to emanate from the very air itself, casting a dreamlike aura over everything in sight. Further along, I began to notice small alcoves nestled into the walls at regular intervals. Each alcove held a single enigmatic object: a brass key without a lock, a blank-page leather-bound journal, a pocket watch ticking backward, a mirror reflecting only shadows. These items felt meticulously chosen, hinting at a narrative just beyond my grasp, like unspoken words lingering on the tip of my tongue. A sense of anticipation thickened the air, carrying the fragrance of rain-soaked earth and distant memories. I stumbled upon a cozy reading nook, furnished with a carved wooden chair and a small table. Upon the table sat a cup of tea, still warm, its surface rippling as though touched by an invisible hand. Entranced, I watched the steam form intricate patterns that resembled fleeting letters before dissolving into the ether. The chair creaked softly, as if beckoning me to sit, and as I did, my gaze fell upon a book resting on a nearby shelf. Its spine bore a single ever-changing symbol that seemed to shift with each blink. Upon opening it, I found handwritten notes, penned in what appeared to be my own handwriting, detailing events I had no recollection of experiencing. The ink glistened wet in the ethereal light, blurring the lines between past, present, and future. Time itself seemed to flow like honey, the boundaries between minutes and hours becoming indiscernible. The sound of pages turning whispered in my ears, though the book in my hands remained motionless. In the distance, a soft piano melody drifted, familiar yet elusive, its silver notes weaving through the air like ethereal threads. As I delved deeper into the book, I uncovered accounts of other visitors to the mysterious passage, their stories intertwining with mine in inexplicable ways. Some entries were dated far into the future, while others seemed to hail from centuries past. Despite varying handwriting styles, each entry bore elements of my own penmanship, hinting at a connection among these disparate narratives, all threads of the same tapestry. The passage itself seemed to pulse and breathe, expanding and contracting with each breath I took. Motes of light drifted lazily through the air, casting gentle shadows that danced across the pages, carrying whispered fragments of conversations just beyond comprehension. When I tore my gaze from the book, the path ahead had transformed. Where a straight corridor once stood, now loomed a circular chamber with 7 identical doors. Each door reflected a different version of myself, none matching my current appearance. Some mirrored me as I once was, others as I might become, and still others as I existed solely in dreams. The teacup refilled itself, and as I sipped the warm liquid, I tasted memories not my own. Sun-drenched afternoons in unfamiliar gardens, conversations with strangers, the thrill of discoveries never made. Reality and imagination intertwined, melding like watercolors on wet paper, blurring the lines between the tangible and the intangible. I realized that the passage was not merely a physical space hidden behind library shelves, but a realm where time and memory converged, where reader and story became one. The soft light pulsed with the cadence of unseen pages turning, and I knew I had become part of the library's eternal narrative, another chapter in its infinite anthology of tales. When I finally rose to depart, my reflection in one of the ancient mirrors remained seated, engrossed in the book. I felt no urgency to question this anomaly, no compulsion to seek understanding. Some mysteries I understood were meant to be experienced rather than solved. As I retraced my steps through the passage, the air grew warmer, the familiar sounds of the library returning like a gentle tide. I emerged from behind the shelf to find everything unchanged, yet fundamentally transformed. The library persisted in its silent existence around me, but now I sensed hidden passages awaiting discovery behind every shelf, each whispering a tale to those who would listen, inviting them to become part of its timeless saga. To this day, I catch glimpses of that ethereal light between books, taste unfamiliar memories in my tea, find wet ink staining my fingers without cause. Sometimes in the late hours of the night, the distant sound of pages turning reaches my ears, and I know that somewhere, in that hidden passage behind the library shelf, another version of myself lingers in that wooden chair, unraveling stories that dwell in the liminal space between reality and dreams. Story 37. As I sifted through the forgotten treasures of the attic, a glint of metal caught my eye, a keyring adorned with a collection of ornate, antique keys. Each key held a unique design, intricate and mysterious, reflecting the faint light that filtered through the dusty air. There was a magnetic energy about them, a silent invitation to unlock hidden doors and reveal long-forgotten secrets. The attic was cloaked in a hushed anticipation, as if the keys themselves were guardians of a mystery waiting to be unraveled. I settled on the creaky floorboards, the afternoon light casting long, dancing shadows around me. Running my fingers over the keys, I marveled at their craftsmanship. One key bore delicate vines, another intricate geometric shapes reminiscent of ancient celestial maps. And then there was the smallest key, adorned with tiny musical notes that seemed to hum with a silent melody. Despite their age, the keys gleamed with a golden luster, untouched by time, pulsing faintly in the dimness. Holding them in my hand felt both familiar and foreign, as if I held memories not my own. That night, I brought the keys to my study, their presence casting a mysterious aura over the room. Beside a cup of chamomile tea, I began to study the keys, sketching their intricate details. The warm glow of the desk lamp played tricks on my eyes, making the keys appear to shift and shimmer with an otherworldly light. Sometimes a distant music box seemed to tinkle softly whenever my fingers grazed the key with musical notes, disappearing as quickly as it had appeared. Days turned into nights, filled with a captivating obsession with the keys. I delved into the history of lock mechanisms, sought out the art of key making, and even reached out to historical experts. But it was the dreams that wove a spell around me, leading me through corridors of doors, whispering secrets that the keys did not yet reveal. One evening, as twilight painted the world in hues of amethyst and gold, a realization dawned on me. Arranging the keys in a specific pattern unveiled a constellation-like formation, a celestial puzzle begging for recognition. The air thickened with possibility, a gentle symphony of unseen wind chimes mingling with the rustle of papers. Lost in contemplation, I noticed the shadows cast by the keys danced in mysterious patterns, almost like ancient scripts writ large. When I traced these ethereal designs, they eluded my touch, shifting and twisting as if alive with a will of their own. Each night brought new revelations. The key with celestial patterns warmed under the full moon's gaze, while the one with flowering vines seemed to bloom under the gentle touch of rain. Time itself became a fluid concept in the presence of the keys, sometimes slipping away in mere moments, other times stretching into endless contemplation. The true purpose of the keys remained elusive, a riddle left unsolved. Perhaps they were not meant to open physical doors, but rather unlock the corridors of the mind, where imagination and mystery intertwined. And so they rested in their velvet-lined box, a silent enigma that whispered of untold truths and unexplored wonders. In the quiet hours between twilight and dreams, the keys beckoned, their surfaces shimmering like moonlit water, guarding their secrets with silent grace. They were more than mere objects. They were companions in the realm of the unknown, reminding me that some mysteries are best left unsolved, some doors left unopened. And as I drift into the realm of dreams, I am grateful for their enigmatic presence, guiding me through the shadows of the night with a promise of endless discovery. Story 38. Deep into a late work night, the soft hum of my computer served as my sole companion. As I delved into a stack of documents, the screen suddenly erupted in bursts of static, and amidst the crackling emerged a faint, urgent whisper. The voice, barely discernible above the electronic hum, uttered words that sent a shiver down my spine. Bathed in the dim glow, with only the gentle buzz of technology surrounding me, I felt an eerie connection between the digital abyss and a clandestine message meant solely for my ears. The whisper grew in clarity with each passing moment, akin to a radio signal slowly tuning in. I found myself drawn closer to the monitor, inexplicably pulled by its enigmatic call. The soft blue light washed over my face as I strained to decipher the hidden words within the static. The message seemed to pulse in sync with my breath, forging an intimate link between myself and the unseen realm beyond the screen. That night, my office took on an otherworldly aura. The familiar shapes of furniture cast soft shadows in the monitor's glow, and the usual building sounds now held a mysterious cadence. The whisper carried snippets of conversations unspoken, memories unforged, yet they carried an authenticity as if belonging to a parallel version of myself existing in a digital realm. Gradually, patterns emerged from the static. What initially seemed as chaotic noise revealed itself as intricate designs, akin to frost patterns on a winter window. The whisper guided my gaze across the screen, revealing connections that would have otherwise eluded me. My fingers trembled over the keyboard, sensing something beyond conscious understanding. Anticipation hung heavy in the air, though not fear, but a sense of profound revelation. The room's temperature subtly shifted, a cool breeze seemingly emanating from the monitor, carrying a hint of ozone. Static electricity tingled on my skin as the whisper started sharing secrets. Not ominous, but revelations about the fabric of reality that resonated deeply in that moment. Time lost its grip. The digital clock flickered between midnight and early hours, yet the transitions felt natural, as if linear time held no sway. The whisper spoke of the thin veil between digital and physical worlds, revealing my computer as a gateway to a wondrous realm where information thrived. I realized then that the static was not mere noise. It was a language ancient and new, all at once. The whisper taught me to interpret it, unveiling meanings beyond words in each crackle and burst. Concepts once deemed impossible now felt as natural as breathing, expanding my mind beyond known boundaries. The experience deepened. Static patterns materialized in the air, shimmering like ethereal auroras on the periphery of my vision. The whisper reassured me, guiding me to see what had always been present. My consciousness ebbed and flowed, unveiling new layers of understanding with each shift. I found myself typing code I couldn't comprehend, my fingers moving with an intelligence of their own. The whisper assured me it was part of the process, a symbiotic act in bridging worlds. Symbols on the screen transformed into messages speaking directly to my subconscious. Though time blurred, the whisper eventually faded, leaving me with a profound awareness of hidden patterns in everyday life. As the static gradually dissipated from the screen, I caught sight of my reflection in the dark monitor. A quiet wisdom now gleamed in my eyes, a knowledge unseen before. Even now, echoes of that whisper linger in the electronic hum of my devices. The static occasionally forms familiar shapes, like an old friend beckoning for attention. I've come to embrace these moments, gentle reminders that reality holds more mystery and beauty than perceived. The digital void I uncovered is not void at all. It harbors whispers, patiently awaiting a listener. Story 39. As night fell and I descended the staircase of my apartment building, a soft, flickering light caught my attention in the corridor. This gentle glow, emanating from an unseen source, cast ethereal shadows that danced upon the plain walls. The air was crisp, carrying whispers of old paint, and my footsteps reverberated through the surreal stillness that enveloped me. Pausing, I found myself drawn to the mysterious light, suspended between the realms of the past and the unknown. With each step downwards, the wooden floor murmured beneath me, as if sharing forgotten tales etched in its weathered grains. The chill of the air deepened as I approached, veiling the light in a delicate mist that swirled and twirled around its edges. There was something strangely familiar yet enigmatic about the quality of this light. It was not harsh like modern bulbs, nor cozy like incandescent glows. Instead, it held a pearlescent essence, akin to moonbeams filtering through morning haze. Mesmerized, I watched as the light subtly responded to my presence, swaying in a gentle, rhythmic cadence like seaweed in a tranquil sea. The faded wallpaper of the corridor seemed to come alive, absorbing and reflecting the mystical radiance in a mesmerizing play of light and shadow. Amidst the flickering, elusive patterns emerged, intricate swirls and shapes that vanished when stared at directly. The musty scent of the building transformed into a sweet fragrance, reminiscent of dried flowers nestled in the pages of an ancient tome. Time seemed to shift, its flow altered as if honey trickling slowly from a spoon. The silence, thick and comforting, enveloped me, shielding me from the chaos of the world. Occasionally, soft sounds drifted through this serene stillness, a gentle reminder of existence beyond the light's embrace. With each passing moment, the light unveiled more of its essence, revealing subtle hues of lavender and sea green swirling harmoniously like watercolors blending on parchment. Memories stirred within me, echoes of tales my grandmother used to recount, stories of mystical lights guiding lost souls back home. But was I truly lost in this moment? Contemplating, I felt a tender warmth radiating from the light, a stark contrast to the corridor's coolness. It was a warmth akin to the lingering caress of sunlight on skin after a languid summer day. Memories, both familiar and foreign, flooded my mind, intertwining with the building's own history. The light's movements grew purposeful, as if attempting to convey a message in a language just beyond my grasp. Swaying in unison, I felt as though engaged in a silent dialogue with this enigmatic presence. Raising my hand, I observed no shadow cast upon the wall. Instead, the light enveloped my fingers, akin to liquid moonbeams flowing gently. Neither frightening nor entirely comforting, this sensation lingered in the realm between the known and the mysterious. Time meandered in the corridor, its passage fluid and elusive. Minutes or hours ebbed away as I stood witness to this delicate spectacle. The building's creaks and groans transformed into a melodic symphony, harmonizing effortlessly with the pulsing light. Gradually, a shift in the atmosphere unfolded. The light dimmed slowly, not signaling an end but merging seamlessly with the natural shadows of dusk. As it faded, it left behind a residue of wonder, a subtle shift in reality's fabric that defied explanation. Turning to depart, I beheld the corridor, seemingly unchanged yet somehow fundamentally different. The aged wallpaper, the worn floorboards, the familiar shadows, all retained their essence, now whispering secrets unnoticed before. The mystery of that evening in the corridor remains unexplained. The light never reappeared in the same manner. Yet sometimes, in the liminal space between night and day, a familiar warmth embraces me, a glimmer of pearlescent radiance caught in my peripheral vision. I ponder if perhaps the light has not truly departed, but merely lingers, awaiting the opportune moment to reveal itself once more, to another soul in need of a gentle reminder that reality conceals more mysteries than we dare to imagine. Story 40. In the midst of a stormy night, I found myself settling into my study, book in hand. The room was dimly lit, save for the soft glow of an unlit candle at the center of the table. Its light, though non-existent in flame, pulsed gently in tune with the distant thunder, casting a warm radiance that filled the space. A scent of melted wax mixed with an indefinable otherworldly essence hung in the air, stirring a sense of curiosity within me. I couldn't help but be captivated by this enigmatic glow, as shadows danced across the weathered pages of my leather-bound book. Outside, the rain painted a tranquil melody against the window panes, offering a soothing accompaniment to the inexplicable phenomenon unfolding before me. The antique reading chair, a cherished heirloom from my grandfather, creaked softly as I leaned in to examine the peculiar light more closely. The candle itself appeared unremarkable, a simple white pillar acquired from a quaint shop downtown. Yet in that moment, it exuded a life of its own, casting a gentle alabaster glow reminiscent of moonlight filtering through morning mist. As I observed, the light seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in a rhythm that mirrored the beating of my own heart. Time took on a different quality in the presence of this ethereal illumination. The storm outside receded to a mere whisper, and the usual creaks and groans of the old house quieted. Even the grandfather clock in the corner seemed to slow its steady ticking, as if honoring the silent mystery that enveloped us. Patterns began to emerge on the walls, not random flickers of candlelight, but deliberate shapes that wavered like memories struggling to resurface. The room's temperature subtly shifted, not uncomfortably so, but enough to signal a change in the atmosphere. It felt as though the very air had gained substance, carrying whispers of untold stories. My gaze followed the light as it spread across the desk, tracing gentle caresses over ancient tomes and brass drawer handles. The fragrance in the room evolved, now infused with hints of vanilla and the essence of aged parchment. Each breath brought new layers of complexity to the sensory experience, weaving a tapestry of sensations that enveloped me. As the night deepened, I noticed the objects in the room responding to the candle's presence. The crystal paperweight refracted and magnified the light, casting miniature rainbows that danced above. My collection of fountain pens cast intricate shadows, forming patterns resembling cryptic symbols in a language beyond my comprehension. The soft pulsing of the light unveiled more of its essence. Within its gentle glow, elusive shapes hinted at familiar faces and places, just beyond recognition. It was like witnessing memories in reverse, each pulse revealing a fragment of something profound yet elusive. Driven by an inexplicable urge, I reached for my journal, the pen shimmering with an unearthly iridescence as I set it to paper. Each word seemed to carry a weight of significance, infused with layers of meaning bestowed by the mysterious candlelight. Hours slipped by in this silent communion with the unknown. The storm had long passed, but the candle's glow persisted, a steadfast sentinel in the quietude of the room. My reflection in the window took on a spectral quality, merging with the supernatural tableau that had unfolded before me. I felt no inclination to disturb the peace, content to linger in this realm of possibility and revelation. As dawn approached, a subtle shift occurred in the quality of light. The candle's glow harmonized with the emerging day, melding seamlessly with the soft gray of morning. The scent in the air transformed once more, now carrying the fresh promise of a new dawn, tinged with the lingering mystery of the night. With the rising sun, the candle's light did not fade but merged with the natural illumination of daybreak. The wax bore no trace of the night's events, leaving only the scent and the words in my journal as testament to the extraordinary night. To this day, the candle rests on my desk, a silent witness to that singular experience. On quiet evenings when the rain returns, a hint of that otherworldly scent lingers, thickening the air with possibility. In those moments, I sit in my grandfather's chair, awaiting the chance that the candle may once again share its silent tale with me. Story 41. In the quiet embrace of my room, after a day that left me weary, I found myself enveloped by darkness and silence. A fleeting shadow danced along the wall in the soft glow, disappearing whenever I tried to focus on it. The scent of aged wood lingered in the air, and a lone chime broke the stillness, leaving me with a sense of unease, as if an unseen presence lurked in the shadows. Nestled in my beloved armchair, the familiar fabric comforting beneath my touch, I listened to the gentle rain tapping against the window, its rhythmic melody lulling me into a state of tranquility. The room was bathed in the warm amber light of a single lamp, its soft glow pulsing ever so subtly with each breath of wind that brushed through the ancient house. The shadow that had caught my eye earlier remained in my thoughts, a puzzle waiting to be solved. It wasn't the first time I had noticed peculiar occurrences in this room. Over time, the darkness seemed to gather differently, shifting in ways that defied logic. This night felt distinct, heavy with anticipation, like a storm brewing within the confines of the room. My collection of weathered books stood proudly on the shelves, their spines gleaming softly in the lamplight. As I observed, the shadows between them deepened, intertwining to form patterns resembling flowing water. Taking hold of my tea, the cup's warmth seeped into my hands, yet one side felt unusually cool, as though a presence had absorbed the heat. Upon raising the cup to my lips, my reflection in the dark liquid appeared distorted, rippling as if stirred by invisible currents. The grandfather clock in the corner maintained its steady cadence, each tick resonating just a fraction longer than expected. I found myself fixating on the elongated seconds, the rhythmic beats stretching and contracting like elastic, the pendulum swing casting disjointed shadows that defied its motion. Rising from the armchair, I approached the window to draw the curtains, the fabric seeming weightier than usual. As I pulled it across, A movement caught my eye in the glass. Not a mere reflection, but a figure moving with an elegance both familiar and foreign, like a dream unfolding before my eyes. The rain's symphony continued its gentle serenade, now revealing whispered patterns within its rhythm, almost resembling murmured secrets just beyond comprehension. Pressing my palm against the cool glass, I sensed a delicate response, as if a gentle touch reciprocated mine. Turning back to the room, the shadows had shifted once more, emanating from a central point that eluded my gaze, like spokes of a mysterious wheel. Though I sought to pinpoint this focal source, it remained just beyond reach, evading my scrutiny. A particular volume on the bookshelf captured my attention, its shadows darker and denser than the rest. Retrieving the old journal that had been discovered in the house, I noticed a single line inscribed on the first page. "They come with the shadows, but they mean no harm." Returning to the armchair with the journal in hand, I observed how the lamp's light seemed to caress its cover, creating intricate patterns of light and shadow that danced across the pages. Opening the journal, the blank sheets held depths previously unseen, akin to peering into still waters and discovering unfathomable depths. As evening descended, I sat immersed in the interplay of light and shadow, the boundaries between them blurring into cryptic symbols that tantalized just beyond comprehension. The initial shadow I had glimpsed now had companions, moving with deliberate elegance along the walls, exuding a sense of curiosity rather than menace. I came to realize that these shadows were not mere absence of light, but embodiments of a different kind of presence, like thoughts materialized, memories taking corporeal form. In their silent choreography, I discerned echoes of forgotten truths and revelations yet to surface. The room transformed into a realm betwixt realities, where the conventional laws of light and shadow held diminished sway. As the night waned, a profound sense of wonder enveloped me, dispelling any inkling of fear. The shadows continued their silent ballet, revealing themselves as silent witnesses patiently awaiting acknowledgement, existing in the shadows of our world. When slumber finally claimed me, its embrace akin to descending into cool, dark depths, I found solace in its gentle hold. Come morning, the shadows resumed their customary behavior, yet now I perceived subtleties previously overlooked, their lingering presence, their faint flicker of consciousness. And in moments of perfect stillness, I sensed them observing, waiting for the twilight hour when the boundaries between reality and possibility blur once more. Story 42. Venturing into an ancient diner on the brink of destruction, I was enveloped by a peculiar scent that lingered in the stale air, a fusion of freshly baked bread intertwined with a hint of caramelized sugar. Soft light cast eerie shadows upon peeling walls, while every creak in the deserted dining hall murmured secrets of lavish banquets and long-forgotten sorrows. Abandoned places always held a mysterious allure for me, offering a tranquil solace in their silent abandonment. As a professional photographer specializing in capturing the essence of urban decay, I believed I had witnessed it all. Yet, the moment I crossed the threshold of this place, a sense of otherworldly intrigue enveloped me. The late afternoon sun filtered through dusty windows, painting ethereal patterns that danced across weathered floorboards like spectral imprints. The kitchen beckoned me first, its stainless steel surfaces tarnished by years of disuse. However, a subtle unease crept over me. The surfaces appeared oddly devoid of dust, as if freshly wiped clean. Running my fingers along a countertop, I was met with a cool, smooth texture. It was then that I detected a faint warmth, subtle yet undeniable, emanating from the ancient brick oven nestled in the far corner. The aroma intensified as I drew nearer, carrying whispers of rosemary and thyme beneath its sweet facade. Despite my logical reasoning that the oven could not possibly be warm, the stones exuded heat akin to a slumbering giant's exhalation. In the dimness, I could have sworn I glimpsed a flicker of movement within its shadowed maw. My camera lay forgotten at my side as I gravitated towards a small office concealed behind the kitchen. Faded photographs adorned the walls, countenances from bygone eras peering out from behind scratched glass. Yet, one photograph seized my attention. A group of employees proudly posed before the brick oven, dated mere weeks prior to the abrupt closure of the restaurant 3 decades past. The longer I scrutinized the image, the more details unveiled themselves. The oven remained identical, right down to the peculiar arrangement of weathered bricks adorning its arch. However, a subtle anomaly lingered, a phantom figure in the background, scarcely discernible, its form eluding comprehension. Drawing closer, the fragrance of baking bread grew more potent, accompanied by a soft humming resonating from the kitchen. Time seemed to bend within that realm. The daylight outside scarcely waned, yet my timepiece indicated that hours had slipped away unnoticed. Subsequent examination of my photographs from that day unveiled enigmatic phenomena, ethereal figures lingering in the backdrop, and wisps of steam wafting from an oven that should have been cold and inert. Periodically, an inexplicable compulsion drew me back to that diner, yet its elusive whereabouts remained beyond my grasp. The streets appeared to shift and rearrange themselves, safeguarding its enigmatic secrets. Nonetheless, on tranquil nights, a familiar aroma of bread and caramelized sugar wafts through my window. In those moments, I ponder whether the restaurant discovered me instead of vice versa. The impending demolition never transpired. When the crew arrived one morning, all that awaited them was a desolate expanse of land, as if the structure had never existed. Locals whisper of evenings where, under the perfect illumination, the spectral outline of the old diner shimmers in the twilight. And if you listen attentively, you might discern the sound of an oven door creaking open and catch the scent of fresh bread baking in a kitchen lost to our reality. The photograph I captured of the staff before the brick oven remains in my possession. Occasionally I study it in the late hours, attempting to decipher the enigma I encountered. The shadow in the background now appears clearer, resembling a figure clad in an apron, hands engaged in invisible kneading. Yet the most perplexing detail, unnoticed until recently, is the reflection in the oven's gleaming handle, an individual seemingly taking the picture, clad in attire identical to mine during my visit, standing within a kitchen abandoned for 3 decades. Penning these words in my apartment, the fragrance of bread and caramelized sugar envelops me more intensely than ever before. And from the corner of my vision, I catch glimpses of a warm glow emanating from an absent oven. Story 43. As I strolled down a weathered alley, my eyes caught a glimpse of a nearly invisible mural sketched in white chalk on a rough brick wall. Drawing nearer, the faint outline unveiled a face with a mysterious, knowing grin. The atmosphere hung still, carrying a subtle aroma of smoke and damp stone, while that enigmatic smile seemed to safeguard a tale of forgotten passions and secrets destined to remain hidden. Every morning following that initial encounter, I felt a magnetic pull back to that narrow passage. The aged bricks harbored untold stories within their crevices, and the smile appeared to shift ever so subtly with each return. At times, it bore a melancholic air, while other moments it exuded a sense of knowing, as if sharing a confidential whisper with observant passers-by. The soft echo of my footsteps reverberated against the time-worn walls, mingling with the gentle rustle of autumn leaves gliding across worn cobblestones. In those tranquil instants before daybreak, when the world held its breath in the hush between night and day, I would stand before the enigmatic smile, allowing my fingertips to trace the rough texture of the bricks, sensing the faint grooves where the chalk had settled. On a misty morning, a peculiar sight caught my eye. Beneath the smile, barely discernible in the dim light, were faint remnants of writing. The letters appeared delicate, as if whispers frozen in time, materializing and dissolving with each shift of the fog. Leaning in closer, my breath swirling patterns in the mist, I observed an elegant, flowing script dancing across the brick surface. Though most had faded into obscurity, a few words remained legible. Beneath the seventh stone. My heart quickened slightly, not out of fear, but from the quiet excitement of unearthing something long dormant. I began counting the bricks beneath the smile, my fingers gliding over each one. The seventh brick felt subtly distinct, not overtly so, but possessing a gentle give that set it apart from the rest. The mortar encasing its edges looked fresher, yet aged enough to blend seamlessly with its surroundings, imperceptible to all but the keenest observer. Over the ensuing weeks, I revisited the wall at various hours, observing how the shifting light transformed the enigmatic smile. At sunset's golden hour, the chalk seemed to radiate an inner luminescence. Even amid rainfall, where water cascaded down the wall, the smile persisted, softening but never fully dissipating. I began bringing my sketchbook, endeavoring to capture the diverse nuances of the grin. Yet each drawing felt incomplete, as if a crucial essence of the image remained elusive. While other individuals traversed the alley, few seemed to notice the smile. Those who did would pause momentarily, their expressions subtly shifting before continuing on their way. One evening, as the fading sunlight bathed the sky in gentle purples and blues, I espied an elderly woman standing before the wall. Clad in a gray wool coat and clutching a wooden cane, her countenance bore a mix of recognition and tender sorrow. Without acknowledging my presence, she murmured softly, as though to herself or perchance to the smile. "You always were too clever for your own good," she uttered, reaching out to touch the wall with trembling fingers. Upon her departure, I noticed she had left a small item on the ledge beneath the seventh brick. A tarnished brass key, its design intricate and antiquated. The key exuded a warmth in my hand, as though it had absorbed not merely the day's heat, but something deeper, memories, perchance, or secrets. It bore no resemblance to any lock I had encountered, its unusual tooth patterns and delicate engravings along the shaft a mystery in themselves. I found myself carrying the key with me, running my fingers over its surface during moments of quiet reflection. Weeks passed, and rather than fading, the smile seemed to grow more distinct. New details emerged, a subtle curve at the corner of the mouth hinting at amusement, a glimpse of a dimple appearing in certain lights. The wall had evolved into my sanctuary, a realm where time flowed differently and the ordinary world felt distant. Then arrived the morning when everything shifted, though in the most gentle manner imaginable. Upon arriving at dawn, I discovered a small group of laborers commencing the restoration of the ancient alley. They conversed in subdued tones, honoring the early hour, as they readied to cleanse and recondition the brick walls. A pang of sorrow gripped my heart at the notion of the smile being effaced. Yet, as I approached for a final gaze, a remarkable sight unfolded before me. Where the chalk smile had once resided, a natural pattern in the brick itself now emerged, curves and shadows crafting the same knowing expression I had grown accustomed to. The laborers worked around it with care, seemingly grasping its significance without verbal instruction. The brass key in my pocket emitted warmth, and I comprehended that certain enigmas are destined to remain just that, enigmas. To this day I pay occasional visits to the alley, though less frequently. The smile endures, subtler now but unmistakably present, transformed from chalk into a more enduring form. At times, in the perfect light, or during moments of profound quietude, I glimpse those faded words beneath it, or feel the key's warmth against my skin, and I reciprocate the smile at the wall, partaking in its secret. The seventh brick still remains slightly loose, its mystery unexplored. Perhaps it is for the best. Some doors are meant to remain shut, safeguarding their tales for future dreamers who may chance upon, gaze up, and ponder the smile on the brick wall.